Between us, we are going to rank every single mob as of 1.21 into one of 6 categories: best, excellent, good, mid, kinda bad, worst in the game. Worst in the game, obviously, is, I guess you call it F tier.
Yeah, how many can we fit? Okay, yeah, we're going to rename the category.
Worstest in the game. Asterisks, maybe multiple included. Or maybe there's no mobs that fit into the worst in the game. Maybe we like them all too much, and they all fit into the best, and there's just no space in the other categories.
It could be.
So every single mob, I think we should go in alphabetical order, or not alphabetical, but in the order they've got here. Does that look good to you? If you
sure. I'm game.
Okay, then I'm excited to break you in for a tier list live here. So for anyone not familiar, on my end, CornerHard works on Minecraft. Developer is the loose term you use, but more specifically, Realms lead. Is that correct?
I'm one of the lead developers on Realms, or development leads. If the order really matters, I don't know that it does. You can just call me
to the regional
developer.
manager, not the assistant regional manager. Yeah.
You get a bunch of people who are good at specific things. There's someone who's really good at the business angles of things, and the charts and the line graphs. And I'm responsible for the game client, which is the fancy way of saying the game that you're running on your Xbox or your iPhone or your Windows PC. So I am helping us try to make good choices about what we work on next and figure out how we fix bugs and all that sort of fun stuff.
Super cool. And so as a result, you probably see your fair share of Minecraft mobs while testing, while playing. And so what do you think about the Creeper?
Oh, the Creeper. It's such an interesting mob. Such a classic mob. It really is. I was giving some family a tour of Mojang Studios recently, and they had a big creeper. I was describing, like, for the grown-ups what a creeper was. Like, yeah, this is basically the mascot of the game. I'm thinking about it as I'm saying it. Like, yeah, I would say so. The creeper is the mascot of the game. I don't know if you agree.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think 100%. Like, if there is going to be any mob that represents Minecraft individually, a part of me wants to say it's the zombie because it looks like Steve. A part of me wants to say, maybe it's the cow or something. It's the creeper. The creeper is more famous than Minecraft, I might even say. And so you could say it's best just on the back of that, or you could say it's one of the few mobs that will actively take back the building that you do. There is no, a skeleton can end your day, but a creeper can literally take you back in time. You can spend all day working on a beautiful dirt house, and it can be gone. So I think we can agree it's definitely not good or mid, right? The question is, which end of the incredible spectrum does it fall on?
Oh, I would put it up towards the top, I think. The Creeper is a classic mob. I've seen many people make the argument, and I would agree, that it probably would not make it into the game in modern Minecraft. Because it is destroying.
Chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Imagine the community reaction.
Sorry? Oh, yeah,
Well, imagine the community reaction that the Creeper gets added and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, there's a new mob. It will blow up your builds if you aren't paying attention, and then it's silent, and it looks very strange. And
similarly, if the Phantom was added in Alpha, I think people would love it. I think if it had been there since the beginning, it would be such an iconic part of the game. Like, oh god, you've got to sleep or this thing comes and gets you. But because it's too late on in there, people have too many core memories about it. It's an addition and not a part of the base game. But we'll come around to that. We got a lot of mobs between us and it.
Okay,
so
we got a lot of them. We could talk about the Creeper all day.
Does that seem fair?
I think but best is fair. It might move a little bit, but the fact that it can destroy builds, it still gets me to this day, and there's still a matter what the heck just happened.
I've lost so many hardcore worlds. So many.
Yes.
It's all the Creeper. It's always the Creeper, which is the beauty. I like that there's a mob that is so unique in what it does, and the fact that it has to be unique is almost an extra power. So we'll leave it there. What about the pig? I don't think we could say the pig is the best. I think that would be silly.
Well, there's a whole tier of these passive mobs where I feel like the old ones are kind of even more game changing than newer ones, so they're kind of better. So the pig, of course, it's food. It has its own quirky charm, but you can saddle them. You can ride them. There's unique advancements and achievements based around the pig. Like
Oh,
something
okay.
like
Okay.
the
I was just
fox
thinking it's
or
just a worse version of the
camel.
cow. It just doesn't drop but you can also ride it. So, you know, you might convince me from bad to mid or good even. Uh
It, yeah, I think it's at least good. The pig has some unique charm to it. It's been around for forever. It spawned the pigmen, which later turned into the piglins.
yeah,
I don't know. I like that.
there's
Pig's
a
pretty
whole
classic.
like part of the game based on the pig. Really, you'd argue the villager is spawned from the pig too. And so as a result, pretty iconic too, but I wouldn't be comfortable moving it much above good. Excellent feels like maybe a stretch. Tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Excellent. Yeah, good feels about right for the pig, I think.
Skeleton. I hate these guys so much. I
Are all the skeleton variants separate in the list, or are they?
Yes. Well, there's a bogged here. I haven't. Is there? There's a
Okay, we
stray.
got the
We've all
bogged, okay.
separate. Skeletons ruin your day every single time.
Gosh.
I
And think about all the times you're in like a soul sand valley or something, you can't move very fast, and oh, there's a skeleton just when you don't need one.
It's you know, I not to neg on realms in particular, but because of the limited simulation distance that the super high spawn rates, I just assumed that wow, I can't believe I wasn't used to this many skeletons, but there's so many, and it's just at that crucial level where it's like there is no way you're getting through that biome. But you know, if we're being fair to the skeleton, it didn't choose to be born in the Soul Sand Valley. The Soul Sand Valley chose that, and so I think, as much as I want to say it's the worst in the game, it's the worst in the game to deal with. But I think it's kind of bad, or mid doesn't feel correct for it. I don't think it's a mid mob. I think it specifically is frustrating.
Kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, the fun of these is categories like kind of bad. Like, kind of bad in what way? Is it kind of bad to encounter? Is it kind of bad as far as overall mob design characteristics? You could argue endlessly.
You know,
I'm fine with
that's a
the
good
skeleton
point.
kind of bad.
Yeah, I guess we'll go. Let's lay down some criteria. Make sure we get this consistent. I think we should say, partially in mob design, like from a mechanic standpoint, is it well balanced against every other mob? Is it interesting to encounter? But then also, how do you feel when you see it? Should be a part of that. Because if there's a mob that's terribly designed, but you love looking at it every time, you know, the sniffer comes to mind. It's terribly designed is a bit rude, but you know, like the axolotl, the sorts of mobs where you love them regardless. I feel like they should get a boost for that, even if you didn't love the game design, and vice versa. If a mob is perfectly designed but you hate it every time, if you want to count the hate against it, you can. That's what I would say.
Okay, I feel like you're talking me into moving the skeleton higher. The skeleton has the sounds are iconic. Those little xylophone sounds.
Yeah.
Of the bones. And think about all the times you've run into one of those guys and you're like, oh no, and you have to deal with them. But
okay, yeah, when there's one skeleton is an iconically scary enemy. Two skeletons is this mob shouldn't have been designed enemy. That's the weird thing about it, I would say. Or maybe two is okay, but once you get to three, it's like there is no way I'll ever get over there. This mob is the worst. But maybe that's great design, we could argue.
well, yeah, and then they start shooting each other, and that becomes an aspect of the trial chambers as far as the game design. I don't know. There's just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, okay. You've talked me into mid. I don't think I want to go any higher, but I'll move
okay,
it into
fair
mid.
enough. Mid. The skeletons are
Spiders.
mid. You heard it here.
What do you
Spider.
reckon?
Oh man. They are quirky. Are they the only two black? Well, I guess there's some other large mobs. The spiders have a weird dimension to them, and then the
Yeah.
fact that they can climb the walls.
2 by 1 maybe. Yeah, the wall climbing thing. I remember I was playing Minecraft when they added that, and I was like, why would you? My walls, they're pointless now. But it meant you have to make a roof, which I guess is nice. So I thought it's clever game design on that level, and it's also clever to have something that is quite easy to kill, but is horrific to look at. That's what I think is smart.
I think they deserve to be up high just for the accomplishment of. Think about how many people are horribly afraid of spiders, but then somehow they're one of the main mobs in this game that's played all over the world, and people aren't.
Crops,
you know,
as well as take
nope,
my arrows for
because
arming
there's giant
yourself.
spiders in the game.
Bump
so I think,
me up a notch.
They're pretty well done. They're pretty classic.
I did say, by the way, that I would accept bribes for moving up tiers here, because I'm nothing if not shameless about my willing to go through corruption. And someone did say, so the skeleton mob left a tip saying, "You harvest me for my bones to tame dogs and grow crops, as well as take my arrows for arming yourself. Bump me up a notch." How do you feel about that skeleton's?
Okay, I like it. If there's one, the old mob rooms, the old dungeons. If you're looking to get a mob spawner, which one are you hoping for? You're not hoping for a spider spawner. You're hoping for a skeleton spawner.
Zombies. Yeah, zombie and spiders are both disappointments. Skeletons are the amount of stuff you get from them actually. Okay, you know what? That is a convincing argument. I want you to be my lawyer. When I'm tried for my crimes against humanity, I want you to be there, saying, "Well, if you think about it, these people value their life now that they don't have those limbs." I want you in there making that case for me. But sheep, what do we think?
Oh, sheep.
Because I feel like we got spiders pretty high. I don't know if we finished spiders for sure, but I feel like I feel like they have to go below skeletons after your point, maybe. But we'll
spiders. Like the only other interesting thing about spiders is the fact that sometimes they're passive and sometimes they're hostile, which is kind of interesting. I guess
is that intentional?
True for anyone else in the game?
I've always just assumed it was Bedrock being Bedrock, and I didn't
Oh no, it's
know.
day-night. It's daytime, and the spider hasn't encountered you yet. It'll be like, oh yeah, a person. But it's nighttime. It's like, human blood, and then it's coming after you.
Well, sometimes it'll be daytime and they'll be aggressive, and sometimes it'll be nighttime and they won't care. Is it not? You're saying it's not. There is a bit of. Your point is just that it's sometimes each way because of day-night, and that other thing is just unrelated. Maybe Bedrock being Bedrock.
I think it's maybe buggy spiders.
Which, to be fair, if there's a
to
mob that should be a bug, it should be an arthropod. So a bug.
That's true.
It's, if they're going to be anywhere, fits in perfectly right there.
That's true.
I'll leave. I think good below skeleton, but maybe below pig 2 would be a good spot for it. But maybe mid. No. I think good. I think we can leave it there. Okay, sheep. What were you saying about the sheep before I interrupted you?
Sheep are interesting because wool is such an important part of the game in so many different ways. Like you're making beds, and there's all these other recipes with wool. Like if sheep is really what you're looking for early in the game, like I need to shear them, or they need to meet an untimely demise, but I need those 3 wool to get a bed. Or I guess you could find a village and get a bed that way. But sheep are definitely, they feel a step above a lot of these passive mobs, like ocelots, for instance.
They are. Like, if you have 8 cows in your farm, it's like, okay, you get a slightly high... every other mob you have to... Really, besides the cow where you can milk it, but you get enough milk from 1 cow. I think sheep are the first mob where you get more of them, and you get a real benefit. You can shear the wool, you can color them, you can start making, your rainbow builds. I think that is a excellent game design mechanic, that they're worth killing, they're worth keeping, and they're worth customizing, and the fact that it can do all of those things, it's pretty genius. Maybe even S tier, best tier. I might go that far.
Yeah, that's true. It's true because they have there's Jeb sheep, like they have a unique name tag thing. There's not many mobs. There's one other mob in this list that has something specific in that way, the name tagging.
2, 3. There's the rabbit. There's the vindicator.
Oh, rabbit. That's true. Rabbit as well as the vindicator.
Maybe the cat. Do you have to name a cat to get jelly, or is it just one of the defaults? I think it is just a default. I think it might be 2 then. Yeah. So, okay, it's one of 3 mobs that has a unique effect. It's very few, either way.
Okay, so sheep are legitimately pretty high up there. They deserve to be.
Okay, well, I'll put it in excellent, but we can move it around if, other mobs displace it. Zombie.
Zombie. So we're talking about, like, the iconic big three: creeper, skeleton, zombie. They've been around for forever. I don't know.
I like the lore implication, because he's dressed exactly like Steve.
That's true.
I like
the shirt and everything.
That he's slow, like he's the worst. He's the least dangerous foe, but somehow he will still mess you up quite frequently. There's a beauty in that, in my opinion. But I would say, despite those things being true, I don't think it's that great of a design of a mob. I don't. The rotten flesh is never useful. And I think the only big game design win, and I hope this is intentional, is that you can get iron and carrots and potatoes. And so perfect
that's true. The unique drops. Like can't you get a potato from a zombie?
Yep.
If you're really lucky.
Potatoes, carrots,
that's
and
like
iron. Every challenge requires one of those three things.
That's right. And I love baked potatoes. So if you're early game in the world and you kill a zombie and you get a potato, that's probably like the only positive thing about a zombie. I think they belong in mid.
Okay, perfectly. Yeah, I do think that I would say bad, but they are, they I think this is the definition of a mid mob. Like, you've got lots of things you want to like, lots of things you want to hate, but none of them really stick that hard. Chicken. This is a fun
Oh
mob.
Man. Yes, because there's the whole egg mechanics. Like, is there how many, I guess, ender pearls you can throw and get ender mites, but thinking of throwing the eggs and having chickens spawn is such a unique thing. And the fact that you can make a chicken machine that just makes chickens infinitely.
There's something extra horrifying about, there's lots of automatic farms in Minecraft. The one that always, I'd have to, look at my friends weird for would be when you have, an automatic, when chickens grow up, they get automatically cooked sort of farm. I'd always be like, this is a step further than I'd like to go.
It's a little macabre, yes.
Yeah. And the egg mechanic is very cool. That's, you can hit players with them, you can do all sorts of fun things. But at the same time, do you want a chicken farm? You want all these other farms, even a pig farm, etc. When you get chickens, it's more like a pleasant surprise. That's my. The eggs are fun, but you're kind of done with it as soon as you get your eggs. You're like, now I can throw my eggs in a hole, get more chickens, and no one ever eats cooked chicken. And feathers are only really useful for crafting arrows, and maybe the fletching? No, you don't even. Is it just arrows that you use feathers for? I can't think of the other use. But
I think so. I'm trying to remember if there was something else. It's one of those things, it's searching for a use over the years of feathers, and the chicken, like the cooked chicken is an inferior cooked meat. The chicken farms are really annoying to be around sound-wise. I'd rather be around a cow farm.
Oh
than a chicken farm.
Good point. Yeah, the noise is awful. Chickens. Yeah, I'm looking for my chat just to see if anyone has a good defense, and the best is I love that they get stuck. I think chickens are cute. And feathers, though. But we've just discussed feathers aren't that useful. Neither. I think we can put them solidly in kind of bad. Maybe I don't think worse than the game. I think we have to reserve that for a special type of mob. Speaking of special type of mob, the cow. Do you know what gender the cow is, David?
Well, they're all androgynous officially.
Yeah.
The chicken is the same. I think it's the Ender Dragon is the only one that officially has a gender, which is very interesting. No, cows. So you get leather, and bundles ended up being leather, which is interesting. Leather's used in so many different ways. You want item frames, you gotta kill cows, and
leather is such a
the mushroom is separate.
Item,
yeah. You can make armor out of it. Like, there's no other random organic materials you can make armor out of. Everything else is ores, or you got the chainmail. Yeah,
I think that's a really compelling argument to put them up in excellent. I think maybe even best, because I tell the story all the time, but the first mob that made me say, what is Minecraft? Why are you idiots? One of my friends tried to get me into it. I was like, look at the cows, man. That you can't tell me that you're playing this game unironically. And then you play the game, and you realize the beauty of the cows, and you're like, oh, but you can do this, and then they make your first farm of animals is almost always going to be a cow farm, and you're like, oh, and then I have a source of meat that follows me around, and then the leather, it's gotten so much more useful. But even just for the first set of armor, if you're someone who's scared to go on the ground, it's there for you. I think it's absolutely S tier.
Yeah. Out of all the passive mobs, the cow is by far the most useful. It's classic. The sounds. I mean, if you could saddle them like a sheep, it would really be the ultimate mob.
You can saddle a sheep?
Or not? No, the pig.
Yeah.
The pig. Sorry.
Okay, just gotta make sure I'm not living in the alternate reality, and/or that's not a sneaky reveal. Yeah, no, I'm just.
The saddled sheep. Yes, that's the big reveal. I've slipped and revealed the big.
You love
secret.
driving, right? So logically, the feature, if you were to work on one feature, it'd be the thing closest to a car. And what's the closest you could get to a car? Riding an animal. Boom! My argument is complete. No questions.
I would say, well, my favorite car is a manual shift RX-7, which I drive with two hands, so that offhand needs to be usable. So I would petition for that. If I had any one thing I could add, it would be the full offhand use in the Bedrock.
Yeah, that is. I think that is the community's most wanted individual feature. I won't dive too deep into it just to make sure you're not in an uncomfortable spot. But I feel like my biggest passion right now is I want to convince someone at Mojang that when they do these experiments for combat or villager trading or whatever it may be, that just because one part of it is unpopular, it doesn't mean the rest needs to be thrown away forever too. And so the new combat would have been perfect for Bedrock, even if 5% of it has to be removed because people don't like it. Just give us the other 95%. Just give us the popular 90%. You know, it's my current little pet project. I think I might make a whole video about it. I'm feeling passionate. I'm feeling fired up. But yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, all I can say is within the studio, it's well known that I am the big fan of offhand in Bedrock.
Driving a manual in the US is quite a stance. That's your car is like theft proof, right?
That's true. Yeah, a lot of people. It's a mark of being a car fan if you know how to drive a manual shift car often.
Yeah, I've seen. I get recommended YouTube shorts of car people. I'm not like deep in or out of cars, I guess, but and they're always like, oh yeah, I can't believe, they're always talking about the manuals as a point of like how you can spot a car guy. I think that is interesting because here, like, I almost feel like it's not that it is the opposite, but it's like, if you have a nice car, it's usually not manual here, and if you just have a generic car, it is manual. Like it's the kind of an opposite stance here. But that's the
it is interesting. I feel like the roads in America are very straight and very dull. If you're in England, the roads are very narrow and twisty, and there's all sorts of interesting things going on. So maybe it makes more sense.
So the Ghast, wait, I have one more point. This is my favorite cultural comparison. Is Americans get scared of our tiny roads, and Europeans and British people in particular get scared when they go to America of how wide the roads are. And I think that's funny that the width of the road is the scariest part about driving on the wrong side.
Wait, have you ever been to Los Angeles and been on the freeways there? It's quite the experience.
I drove in Vegas for 6 months. I don't know if you would say it's similar. I don't know if you've been to both places or anything, but there were moments where again here, like you would have to drive like across. It's like you want to do a right then a left, and it's like, okay, so you come out on the far right lane. It's a 7-lane road, and you've got to get all the way across to the furthest left lane, within one street worth. And it's like this is just not safe. We should just have fewer lanes on this road. We don't need this many. But yeah, that's my scary time North American experience. Otherwise, it is too easy. You zone out. You feel like you could, be playing Minecraft at the same time.
I see. You're having the true American driving experience now.
Because the city's being a
My
great city.
chat.
You literally just you go forwards, you stop, you go forwards, you stop, you go forwards, you stop, you go forwards, you stop. You take a right turn, you're at your destination. That's everywhere I ever went in Vegas. That was the exact directions. Every single one.
And you go to, I don't know if you went to Las Vegas Strip, but yeah, the freeway is next to it, but you got to drive through these back alleys from the casino to get to the freeway and then come back. It's all very wild.
Yeah, I live next to
non-Euclidean space.
I live next to the I-15, and so literally my directions to everywhere would be like, take a right turn, you are on the highway, take a right turn to get off the highway, and there's an exit exactly where you want to be. But it is right, going to the casinos from it, you feel like you're going through an alternate reality, like you're on ramp. It's crazy, it's fun. I feel like I could spend hours like talking about it like I have PTSD, like, oh my god, could you go here and then you gotta do like a loop-de-loop, and it was fun. It was always fun. Okay, so the Ghast, what do we reckon?
Oh, my chat has been watching you like moving that Ghast around the screen with your mouse pointer, and I've seen lots of strong opinions on Ghast.
Same here, yeah. Here's a good one. Ghasts are just worse creepers.
You're not wrong. And if creepers could fly and they made baby noises,
and they shot projectiles rather than just needing to be close to you. Because I had the idea yesterday. I was like, what if we had Never Creepers? And I was like, we do. We have Never Creepers, and they also light things on fire, shoot from a distance, are much larger, much more terrifying, and spawn everywhere, even when it's daytime. Someone worked out how could you make the creeper worse in every way. And I do think it's good design, though, because without it, the Never wouldn't be scary.
Yeah, they definitely amp up it. Are they scary or are they annoying, though? It's like the ancient city, you're wandering around, it's kind of scary. And you're nervous and stuff. But if you're building like a bridge in the Nether, it's like, especially if you're on Simulation 4, maybe you're playing around, you're like, oh, a Ghast suddenly appeared close to me. Oh, great, I need to stop what I'm doing so I can bounce back his fireball at him. And maybe I miss, and then I lose my bridge. Like, I don't know.
I would say early game, scary. Anytime afterwards, annoying. That would be my balance. Because when you're bridging early on, I love that I can put my chat on edge. They're all like, what are you doing bridging right now? And I'm just like, trust me, there won't be a Ghast. And like 60% of the time I'll be right, you know? But everyone's scared about that 40%. I think that's the genius of the mob, is that once it spawns and fires at you, you have such a limited range of what you can do. It's the original Warden, in that the best thing to do is just to get away from it. You can fire back at it, but it's always going to be a pain. You could bring a bow and it's not that bad, but you know, not everyone has one, and you need to be pretty good with your aim. I think it's a well-designed mob because you hate it. I think
that's true.
But you know, I'd be open to hearing if you want to move it down a few notches.
I'm going to use my subjectivity and move it down. I just really don't like the Ghast.
How's mid feel? Is mid too high?
They're obnoxious. Mid. Yeah, put them next to the zombie. That's what you get, Ghast.
I'm going to put it in front of the zombie, though, because I feel like the zombie, you're like, ugh. The Ghast, you're like, ah! And I feel like strong reactions are going to count higher for our list. So the slime is just instinctively, I want to put him worst in the game. I think, but again, there's a little part of this where I'm like, is this the slime's fault or is this the Caving Cliffs update? Because if it, you know, before that it spawned in certain chunks below 40, I think, and so that's a reasonably small part of the world, but they now spawn everywhere. Maybe this is like a late game thing too. Like I've now gotten further in my game and they're in more parts of the world. They spawn everywhere and they ruin my day. And there's very few times you want slime outside of Sticky Pistons and maybe getting that one achievement.
Yeah, bouncing on things and Sticky Pistons. Yeah, so the slime balls are often, I mean, maybe you're crafting magma cream or something, I don't know. Yeah, the slime, and the fact that they split up and they just make it... I craft magma cream all the
time with that recipe. It's such a useful one.
I know, it's really the bee's knees. No, I think the only positive sentiment I have around slime is I think that was the first gameplay bug I fixed working on Bedrock was the slime chunk algorithm was broken. And so I built a slime farm on my server and the slimes weren't spawning. I was like, why? And I was like, oh, the math was wrong in this code that determines whether or not it's a slime chunk. And my chat was like, break it, delete it. But yeah, then it broke, like my slime farm doesn't work anymore, so that goodwill is gone. I don't know. Slimes, I'm feeling like kind of bad just because I think there's other things I want to put in worst in the game, but maybe it can be co-worst in the game.
Yeah, we could always end up deciding something is so bad that the slime has to move up. But I feel like if the slime disappeared tomorrow, it would be multiple months before I thought anything. My experience would improve, and then in about a year and a half, I'd be like, oh, I guess I want a few sticky pistons for this project. I guess I'll just find some in a chest somewhere. You know, I eventually.
Yeah,
I
at that
would
point, you
notice.
have so much detritus. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, zombie piglin is an interesting one.
Oh gosh.
Because I feel like it's an iconic part of the Nether, but it's one of those mobs that it feels like the zombie to me, where it's like, yeah, they exist. They're very easy to avoid. There are moments though where it's perfect because you accidentally hit them and you're like, what hell have I unleashed myself?
Yeah, you didn't have like the zombies. You're always kind of expecting them. They might be in that cave. They might be around at night. But the zombie piglins you just kind of ignore, and then yeah, you accidentally hit one. It's like, oh no, I need to reevaluate my situation. I will say they were especially terrifying when I first started playing the game because I didn't understand how long they would be mad at me. If it was one of those things like you're playing a game like Fallout and you accidentally kill the wrong person, the town is mad at you forever. I was like, is it like that? Is the Nether going to hate me forever? And then I realized no, it's not that big a deal.
That'd be a cool mechanic if a particular like chunk or chunk radius, the zombie piglins would stay mad forever. And that would be a really interesting something to play around with. Like as a
they start putting up wanted posters.
Yeah, they're like, we remember you. You attacked Steve. He was, John. John over there was just minding his own business, and you whacked him right in the face, and we'll never forgive you.
Yeah.
So are they good?
Like
would you say? Are they mid? Are they excellent?
I don't know.
They
feel kind of mid to me.
Okay, mid. I feel like they fit perfectly in the zombie. Maybe a little bit ahead, a little bit behind, a little bit ahead. I feel like they've got a little bit of fun going on with them too. The cave spider is my original, in the same way that I guess creepers will get me a lot now. The cave spider is the one that I will never know how to deal with, and it will sneak up on me in a bad way. Like, because I think they're half a block tall. They can fit through a slab gap. They are a nightmare. And
they can fit through a slab gap. I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think I could like them less, but you're. I didn't even know that they're awful. I hate them. They have the bad status effect. They're tiny. You're in a mine shaft, and it's like, oh no, suddenly cave spiders.
It'd be cool if they had something worth the journey. Like if you were like, okay, oh no, but at the end of this, I'm gonna have something. Like. I killed this cave spider, I got some, anti-poison or something like that, like anti-venom maybe. If there was something like that, you'd be like, okay, this is bad, but I'm going to get something on the... Whereas now you're just like, I have a more annoying spider variant that is going to poison me and potentially kill me. That's my... On a game design level, I feel like it's a fun variant, but it wouldn't get made today. And I like that they're using it more and more, but I don't think... I feel like it makes the mineshaft not as special as it should be. It's not enough to go to a mineshaft for, and so it's just a more annoying spider with no upside.
It's not like, oh, mineshafts, those are dangerous. There's cave spiders. It's more like, oh, there's a special breed of cave spiders. Yeah, they deserve to be next to the chickens. Take that, cave spiders.
The Enderman is an interesting one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
These, I'm really fond of the Enderman. Like the gameplay mechanic. It's another one of those iconic mobs. I don't know if you've played Super Smash Brothers with the Minecraft characters, but the whole announcer for Smash Brothers saying Enderman, like it's so fantastic. Like they're taller than other mobs. The whole look at them mechanic is brilliant. My favorite old
Yeah.
school mechanic, I think, for mobs. You got ender pearls. There's interesting questions, and then in Minecraft Dungeons, like the end there is so interesting, and there's the all the different variants and stuff. I just really like the Endermen.
What I think is hilarious about the
favorite
Enderman
mob.
is I would say it is one of the iconic Minecraft mobs, like top 5 maybe. But it's every time I get reminded of this, literally every time, it's been like 10 times this has happened to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just a play on Slenderman. It's an existing phenomenon that they just said, yeah, we'll put that in Minecraft. And somehow that does result in some of the most fun, intriguing parts of the game. I think if it weren't for the fact that you can get ender pearls in so many ways now, this mob would be even more iconic in that way, because you'd have to face him, you'd need to know how to deal with him. As it stands, I would say maybe best, maybe just excellent. I feel like he's solid, he's great, he's got that, like you said, the staring mechanic. It's the only mob where you think, what can I wear to specifically plan against him? People will block off 70% of their vision just to avoid the chance of angering one of these. Like, rightfully so, I feel that myself. The teleportation, you know, when they are hostile at you, you don't know where they're gonna get you from. Yeah,
There's the block moving too. Like it's nerfed dramatically now, but in the early days of Minecraft, you could tell where Endermen were. Like on my server, you can tell when they had been in caves, as they would be moving blocks all over the place. They used to move a wide variety of blocks.
It's the worst. I have a desert in my end that I'm constantly having to replay sand in because they're moving it around. I feel like that is another example of a mob that is iconic because it does something that it probably shouldn't. Like, you can make a house and an Enderman can ruin it, and that is unique. Do you want to put it in best? Because I'm feeling excellent.
I'm leaning towards best. My one last Enderman story. So at both the Redmond and the Stockholm Mojang Studios offices, they have these big tile murals with an image. I think you've been to the Stockholm office. You've seen the one there. There's a similar one in Redmond, but it's different. But there's an Enderman on there in the corner, in the bottom right corner. And I asked my wife, who does not really care for Minecraft at all, like, okay, what is this? And she's like, Enderman? I was like, okay, you can be my wife. It's that iconic. I think it belongs in best.
In Dundee, where I was recently, they have I think they just have penguins all over the city. I haven't worked out why or what, or if that's even a real thing, but I'm pretty sure they have penguins everywhere. And so in the 4J building, they just have an ender penguin, and it's such a uniquely recognizable style too. So I guess we have to say iconic and one of the best. But I am gonna say not better than the cow or the creeper. I think both of these mobs do have a slight edge on it. Yeah, I would love to do like opinion polling on people, and instead of asking, you know, like important questions about things, just be like, which Minecraft mobs do you know? What you know, like I interviewed random strangers in the street about a cave update a few years ago. I should do that about Minecraft mobs, maybe. Just really.
That was really entertaining, by the way.
Oh,
you should do that again. I love the toy cat in the street with the microphone, just accosting random people in the park, like, "Hello, cave update." Like, who is this person?
Yeah,
peak entertainment.
I think that is uniquely in my skill set to be able to put myself at an awkward disadvantage to help out the viewer. Yeah, I liked it. A lot of people seem to enjoy it too. I mean, maybe I should. Silverfish.
Oh God, we're below slime.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. As you know, because I feel like I might instinctively put it in there too, but the silverfish are unique to the Stronghold, not 100%, but mostly unique to the Stronghold mob. They have one unique ability that actually makes them, you know, they have this like almost zombie effect where it's like one of them, or skeleton effect, like one of them is fine, but if you attack it wrong, and you know, you might not know exactly what wrong is, if you attack it without killing it, it summons all of its friends, and when that actually works correctly, I don't think it does right now, but when that works correctly, it will. It's like one of the most terrifying moments you can have. You're
Oh,
like,
yes.
oh my god, I have made a mistake. I think it has redeeming qualities, and no, yeah, that's as good as I've got. That's.
Well, it is true. Yeah, they delivered some unique moments, like especially early in the game, going to the stronghold. I would always have like a flint and steel in my hand, like this. I can burn them if they come for me. Like they were that terrifying. The fact that there was the infested stone, and now they're kind of weird with the trial chambers. The meta is interesting with this infested status effect, and
Oh
you
yeah.
see like Simply Sark make these weird allay infested farms for XP.
Yeah, I've
There's some
seen
interesting
that, 'cause,
mechanics there.
yeah, the alley heals so fast, but every time it takes damage, you get. It's a clever way to, yeah, and then you turn those into slimes. It is funny that, yeah, both of our bottom tier mobs are potionable effects. You can create them.
Oh, that's true.
Very
I
interesting.
hadn't thought about that. That's probably not an accident.
Maybe, yeah, maybe the people, you know, working out the effects. They're like, how do we? They made their own tier list. They're like, how do we make these bottom tier mobs more useful? The squid.
Oh. Squid.
It rhymes with mid, so I'm just gonna leave it there for a second.
Yeah, like squid. Are there other ways? You can use coal to get black dye, can't you? Do you need the squid for black dye?
Can you use coal to get black dye? Just to, I'm
I don't
99% sure you can't, but I want to make sure.
Okay, I think I'm imagining things.
You can use wither roses.
Oh. Oh yeah, wither. Yeah. Those.
I wish squid were farmable because I need black dye so often, and a lot more than I could easily get from squid. I guess squid are farmable. I bet they are in some way. I wish I could just like lure them home by getting some fish in my hand or something, and then breed them.
Yeah, it's true. You can't breed them. If I remember my Minecraft history right, the squid were the very first mob that Jeb added, and then Notch saw the squid and was like, "Oh, okay, you get what this game is all about." Okay. But they can look kind of horrifying if you don't know what's going on. You see that mouth on the bottom. It's kind of disturbing, but then you realize, no, these are big like ink balloons that are underwater.
And I'll give them extra lore points for having one of the coolest Bedrock exclusives. You know, the baby squid and the squid ink thing.
Oh,
like,
yes.
But yeah, I feel like that it's not special. It's there and it's not hateable, but I don't think it's lovable. I think it's you see it and you're like, okay, that's where I'm at. I like that guardians attack them. I like that. I love a bit of. I like that sometimes the world in Minecraft is existing around you, not directly because of your actions. I don't think it can happen too often, but when it does, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you see those wolves attack sheep, or the guardians go after the squid. I like that. That's sort of like feeling that you're in a bigger
like
world.
The wolf and the skeletons.
Ooh.
But this
wolf.
is everyone's good friend.
Yes. I do, especially with the wolf armor. I like the wolf. Well, I love the wolf armor. The fact that they don't suffer as much for their foolish pathfinding.
Yeah. I like the wolf, but I don't ever use them because I feel like you feel so bad when they die. It's not like a piece of armor or a sword where when this goes down, it's like, well, that's gonna happen. It is, you love them too much to use them for their intended purpose.
You form that natural bond to them. They have so much adorable, like they have the little shake the water off their back animation after they get wet. There's and then the tail going up and down depending on their health. Like there's so much going on there. There's a lot of good. A part of me wants to be like, yeah, it's excellent. And in a way, if you think about how much they can make people love them. That is true. That when you find one, I feel like I'm still genuinely a little excited, and with all the wolf variants too, it's like fun to find in that way. Yeah. I feel like it is a mob that has a design that is iconic in a way that I find illogical. I don't really love it that much if I'm thinking about a play-to-play session, but it makes me feel emotional things.
that make me want to fit the logic around it, rather than the other way around. So I feel like I could put it in excellent, but I could also see good.
Yeah, I think the people who like them so much. I feel like I have to put it in excellent for their sake. And then the variants and yeah, there's a lot of fun going on there. But it is true they're dramatically underutilized because you get too emotionally attached.
Kat says the snowy wolf is so hard to find. Have you found all of the wolves yourself?
I have not. One of my family members is very attached to huskies. And so when that came out, we had to go on a very special quest to get huskies. And even that, it reinforces the point. Like, it was this emotional journey because, like, one of the huskies died along the way home, and yeah, tears were shed.
Yeah, I'm getting sad thinking about it.
Like, if you had a boat with a cow in it and the cow died, it would be annoying, but you wouldn't be like, Bessie, no. I mean, maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe you like cows.
Yeah, I mean, they're in our best tier, so we must love them, right? I feel like if a mushroom's in a boat and it dies, I'm like, that's a long journey.
Yeah, exactly. The mushroom's like, dang it, 8,000 blocks. I had to carry that thing.
It's one of those one of my recent adjustments I kind of appreciated from console to Bedrock is. I used to think mushrooms, it's a bit of a journey, but it's like 1,000 or 2,000 blocks. I've come to realize that it's a lot further than that on average. Like the size of a Bedrock world, the infrequency of the mushroom biome, getting a mushroom is very hard. But first, I guess the blaze. This is a weird icon for the blaze. I don't know why it's cut off at this particular point.
It's kind of claustrophobic.
It's a
maybe that's suitable because I feel like I'm always encountering the blazes in the tight spaces. You're like, oh no, I'm not prepared for this. And then all the speed running videos where the blazes are a key part of the speed run.
They are the only mob you have to kill to beat Minecraft. I guess the Ender Dragon, if I'm being honest.
Ender Dragon, yeah.
The blaze.
That's a good point.
Only thing on the way to the dragon that is a required kill. I can never. I go back and forth about whether I like that or not. Like, if there were more ways to get blaze rods, there'd be more unique ways to beat Minecraft. But on the other hand, if there were more ways to get blaze rods, we'd lose that one connecting point that all runs.
Yeah.
But as far as the current design, they're required, and they're a little bit scary. You always think you have a handle on them, and then something happens, and you're like, "Oh God, no, I'm on fire." It's kind of giving them credit for another mob, but I love that the Wither Skeleton and the Blaze, together they mean that no matter how much armor you have, your health is going to take a dinging that you can't protect from. You can fire resistance against the Blazes, and then you can milk against the Wither, but they require unique strategies. I think that's what makes it smart, maybe an excellent mob. I feel like they're of a slightly lower quality than the excellent mobs, and of a slightly higher quality than the good mobs. That's my
I think that's about right.
So I feel like we'll leave them here, but we could move them down here if it comes to it. I feel like that's...
They can set you on fire, and yeah, they're uniquely terrifying if you're not well prepared for them. And they have there's the anticipation. You see them light up, like, uh-oh, it's about to get toasty in here. Can any other mobs set you on fire?
I'm so sure one can. Is it the only mob that can set you on? I guess the ghast, indirectly.
Oh yeah, like indirectly with the explosion.
Yeah, but not. Yeah. It doesn't count the same. I mean, a skeleton can technically have a flame bow. If we're
that's
really
true.
Technical too. But yeah, it lights you on fire. And the blaze rods are so useful though. You can use them. You need to use them, of course, but you also can use them to make end rods. You can use them as furnace fuel. You can make brewing stands. Litter your world with those. I think, and you need them for brewing stands too. They're integral. They're. I feel like this is right. They are just a step below iconic. Just a step below.
Yeah, they're a very key mob. Like, the idea that there's a boss version of them is something people got really attached to. And like, oh, it's in dungeons. Oh, it's exciting. So yeah, I feel like the blaze belongs there.
be honest with me, David. What did you vote for in the first mob vote, the mob A, B, C, D
The
one?
very first mob vote.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I was paying attention at the time.
Oh, you weren't one of the 2,700 people who voted.
No. No, I was attached to Minecraft, but I think I was playing other games at the moment, so I don't think I was actually voting. And then later on, I was like, wait, the Phantom, what is that?
Ah, okay. So you are responsible for our downfall, really.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were more engaged
Yeah, I'm one of...
if you had if you'd have just showed up to vote. I bet I actually forgot which way I voted. I bet I could find out very quickly. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna go find the mob vote poll. I'm gonna see which way I voted. But the dragon, in the meantime, where do you think it should fit? I've just been moving it around.
Oh man, I mean, it's iconic. Like you're talking about speed running, you got to take down the dragon, and I'm like a speed running nerd, and that I enjoy like, oh, it's a 1 cycle dragon kill, all that kind of hype around the different strategies and stuff. I mean, I know you're an accomplished speedrunner yourself, so I know you know all this stuff already.
An accomplished speedrunner. I'll leave today. I did say something like, hey, I'd love to beat Minecraft in the trial, and someone did say to me like, when was the last time you actually beat Minecraft? And I realized it has been a very long time. So am I a good speedrunner? I haven't even beat Minecraft in a good 6 months to a year. Is that even true?
I know there was a while where you had carved out unique categories for yourself, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to be the best in the world at this very specific category. Okay, I dig it.
There was a little bit there. I was just like, if I pick something too broad, then people are gonna tell me like, here's the best strategy someone else has found. And it's like, but I want to get good at my strategy. So if I pick a category that no one can possibly have tried before me, then I won't have those people. Was my thinking there.
It's solid thinking.
Do you think it's iconic? Do you think it's a step below iconic?
Oh man, it feels a step below iconic. I mean, I have an Ender Dragon toy that breathes mist because it has like an ionizer inside the mouth and stuff like. But I feel like it's not the level of creeper.
I've never heard of that. Is that a public thing that you can buy?
Yeah, you can get them at your local Target or wherever, or at least you used to be able to. I don't know. But yeah, there's some really cool toys out there. You get to see a lot of interesting merch at the studio.
Oh yeah, I guess you would.
Lots of interesting things come through. I have I have a collection of plushies next to my desk, and some of them are apparently pretty rare. I have this Warden plushie, and I had posted that on Twitter, and Silent Whisper was like, oh my gosh, I need that. Where can you get it? I'm like looking at well, the tag is in hiragana, so I guess Japan? I don't know. I like the Warden there. I don't know.
I think I always get jealous when I see your your random pictures of like there was a museum exhibit where you got to see it just before it closed or just before it opened maybe.
Oh yeah.
It's I feel like there's a lot of like fun
bribe to move a mob.
Also,
don't care which one.
David's just said bribe. I just got a tip saying bribe to move a mob. Don't care which one. I feel like that's a sign the dragon's going up or down a tier. I think let's move him down a tier. Let's put the dragon at the top of good.
Down a tier.
But I think that famously I think the dragon I'm gonna say something almost sacrilegious. It's not a finished mob. It is they got it to the point they could ship it and then probably said we'll deal with that later. And I don't think they've gotten around to dealing with it later yet. The dragon egg still is a mystery. It flies through blocks. It has different behaviors between Java and Bedrock. It used to, be different across all 3 editions. The console was different too. I feel like the dragon is just this. No one quite knows what to do with it. It's a great thing that is just. It's not quite there. It's got some work to do. Outside.
Yeah,
of
I agree.
Cool.
Hashtag Red Dragon win.
Yeah, I've just so I've been watching hours of old Minecons this week for a video, and it's fun every single year without fail. The Red Dragon comes up, and it's fun to see their like stance on it evolving. I wish this was what Jeb would say when it comes up now, because he said in like 2013, he's like, yeah, people keep asking me because Notch tweeted about this some years ago. So yeah, it was really interesting. It's fascinating that it's perhaps the single most sought after mob, even though I think no one could actually come up with a good idea for what an overworld dragon should be, what it should do, what the benefit of it is. I could wager.
Yeah, pathfinding in
you go.
A game where you can change all the terrain everywhere. Like to make it work in the end, from a gameplay perspective, it has to be able to fly through so many blocks or destroy them. And yeah, it's just, it would be a challenge.
I think the Wither is the red dragon. That's a bold stance I'm going to take.
Maybe. That's
you know,
interesting.
it's a second boss. You can fight it anywhere, but it deals with pathfinding by, in a very deliberately destructive way. It flies. It's a second dragon. That's my.
I'm on board. I'm on board. I coach a soccer team, and the players got to vote on their name, and I had mentioned that I play on the Minecraft soccer team on the Wardens team, so I wore my Wardens jersey and stuff just to try to get people engaged. And I was like, okay, so we need to vote on our team name, and they're like throwing around all these different ideas, and someone's like Witherstorm, like yeah, Witherstorm. I was like, how interesting! Like the Witherstorm from story mode is just. Still lives on in the imagination so much, and that's descended directly from the Wither. I think you're right about the Wither being the modern day red dragon.
My little part of that is that I've never abused this fact, but if I were to put the Witherstorm in a thumbnail, I can guarantee you I would get 10 times more views on that video if it was in any way related.
Gosh.
It is one of those Minecraft YouTube hacks. It is just, people love it. The Witherstorm.
Yeah.
They want to see it in regular Minecraft. It sparks imagination. It's the Herobrine of the post Minecraft story mode era.
It's true.
What do we think of the Magma Cube? Weirdly, instinctively you should say worse than the game, but I think it's better because it's in a dimension where you're meant to be having a bad time. So I feel like kind of bad
exactly.
As its core. But it could go higher.
And
I could say mid. I could say good.
I like it because there's that one Bastion remnant with the Magma Cube spawner, and then that's like a unique. Maybe just because on my personal realm that I play on a lot, it was the first Bastion remnant I tackled, and so it's very memorable. It's burned into my brain. But you get there and you're like, oh no, a Magma Cube spawner. How am I going to deal with this? And you see that box with all the gold in the middle, and Magma Cubes are hopping around. And I think you did a stream where you were getting a frog light farm or something, and it was in the same one, and you kept dying in horrible ways, if I remember right.
So many bad ways, yeah. That Bastion is the most iconic Bastion. It's the most fun. It's the most rewarding. That centerpiece it's going to tempt you into lava every time. There are mobs that can shoot you, there are magma cubes, and you are so exposed, but it just encourages you to make poor decisions because it 10% of the time it works out perfectly and you are rich and you're set for life. You get a Netherite template, you get a piece of gear, you get some gold, and that 10% will encourage you to make bad decisions, and that is cool. I would give, if the Bastion was a mob, I'm giving it a great ranking. As a magma cube itself, you can convince me that actually, that makes it in the same way that the cave spider doesn't make you scared of the abandoned mineshaft. The magma cube does make you scared of the Bastion. It does make you go, oh my god, they're gonna be there. And then the fact that you can farm them with frogs, that is actually very well considered game mechanic.
And people in my chat are pointing out basalt deltas. I think you've said basalt delta is your least favorite biome in the game. How much of that is because the magma cubes are around?
All of it. Magma cubes and ghasts. It's two bad mobs, a larger amount of lava, and then an ugly block that no one even wants. That's what the basalt delta is. And then also you don't get I think is it bastions you don't get there. So you don't get one of the reasons you're in the Nether. It is they designed a biome to be specifically evil, and I love it. And that and I hate it. I hate that it exists, but I love that they have something so bad because it makes all the other biomes better by comparison. Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
I'm gonna put it above the spider.
Ooh.
Not above the pig. I think that's a little wild, but I feel like the magma cube might have to beat out the spider here for now. Mushroom. I'm just gonna start with best, and then we can lower our way down if we feel like it.
well, it's a cow that's better, so how could it be lower? But
right, it's very hard. I mean, okay, I'm gonna devil's advocate then. It is. You have to shear it if you want to get milk from it, I think.
Yeah.
That's my list of negatives.
Yeah, because you're getting mushroom soup. I think the downside for me is they're so darn hard to get, and then that whole scenario we described earlier, where it's like, oh, you've got one in a boat and you're sailing, and then suddenly trident drowned, or insert tragedy here, and then you've lost your mushroom. It's like, no, 8,000 blocks. I dragged that bovine. So yeah, the cows are more prevalent,
but that again, the only negatives are like, and it's only so bad because you love them so much. It's that's the crazy bit about it. It is starting to make me think the Enderman should go between the cow and the mushroom there. I'm starting to feel that now I see it like this, but maybe. No, we'll see. We'll work out the best at the end. Make sure we get it right. Snow Golem, how are you feeling about it?
Snow Golem. Oh, they're so. I love what an edge case they are for so many different things. Like, I don't know. There was one of the I'm going to beat Minecraft without doing X challenges. I wish I could remember what it was. It was one of the ones you were doing. I was like, how is he even going to do this? And then it involves snowballs and like something with snow golems. Like, what?
I'm gonna guess pacifism then. I feel like that might.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Snow golems are perfect for just like so many weird. They come up every now and then. You're like, oh yeah, they would be perfect for that because it's a golem that fires ranged things, but not very useful ranged things. I like that the latest update you can put fire resistance on them. That's I love that there's an edge case on the edge case mob that is now around in the game. A part of me just has like a, like a little free therapy session here. A part of me just instinctively looks at it and goes, I don't like this. Who likes this? What do you mean you like the snow golem? It's a dumb mob. It's just too, it's clearly a beta version of a golem. The other golems would be better. If we had a copper golem, he'd make the snow golem look bad. But I can't actually pin it down to anything more specific.
Well, I would argue I like them because they're so unique and quirky and Minecrafty. Because they, like, when I went on this tour with my family in the studio, they had this little snow golem statue, and I had to explain what it was, and then I had to explain immediately why it's called a snow golem. It's like, well, see, there's an iron golem, and so you craft that out of iron. So if you make something out of snow, it's a snow golem. It's like, fantasy and lore. And then they have so many weird aspects to them, like they make a trail of snow behind them. Anytime I'm in someone's base, like visiting their castle or their house or their dungeon or whatever they've built, and then I see some sort of snow golem contraption, I'm always delighted. Because it's always going to be something quirky and weird and unique. And that's Minecraft to me, is just the quirky, weird, silly, not taking itself too seriously. Yeah, you can tell I'm arguing for a high tier.
It sounds to me like excellent. I feel like that's where you're going with it. And then if we look around here, it feels like it fits in.
How many other games would have a snowman character that looks like this and acts like this? Like, it's just Minecraft to me.
I love sharing his pumpkin off. It is my favorite.
And the derpy, yeah, exactly. The face underneath, and
it is so perfect.
It's so beloved. I know when I first joined Mojang, like, it was a very cold winter in Stockholm, and so you go on the studio chat and you're seeing people sharing pictures, and the people in the Stockholm office had made a life-size snow golem with the head sheared off and the derpy face, and it was super charming. It was just outside the Stockholm office. It was fantastic. When
I lived outside of London and it snowed for the first time in like 5 years, that was one of the first things I tried to make too. It is an iconic it is just a snowman come to life. It's something. Yeah, it's an idea that perfectly sparks joy. You know, it's gonna go above the blaze. You've got me. It's so nice that way. Do you get snow where you are?
Periodically, like Seattle, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's not necessarily an every year thing.
When I last was there, I was speaking to Helen, and she described it as it's just British weather. And every time I look it up, it is exactly within the range of British weather. And I'm like, is that actually correct? Have I found my people? You know.
So you should come visit. Come visit.
Yeah, I feel like I keep thinking like, yeah, there's gonna be some reason. Like there's always reasons to be, you know, like work related. Like it hasn't come up yet. I want to see the offices. I want to see the Mopop. There's so many cool things in Seattle, and I've been there for like one day in the last like 10 years. It's terrible. I feel like the last time I was there was perfectly when you went on holiday too or something. It was,
yeah. We weren't able to meet up. Yeah.
Thought you were just avoiding me, honestly. You're like, oh god, Toy Cat's here. Gotta get out.
Oh. Exactly, vacation time.
Yeah. Okay, Villager is a tricky one. Where's the Villager?
Yeah.
I'll make the passionate case against the Villager to start with. The Villager
in the worst of the game, below Silverfish. Okay, all right, I'm intrigued.
Okay, we'll start, right?
Pick your cake.
The Villager has ruined the balance of Minecraft. As an idea, it is very cute and wonderful and whimsical. And as you go through the tiers as a novice, it is interesting to discover what you're going to get next. I only recently learned every single... I keep thinking I know all the trades, and I'll learn about a new one, and I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. There is an element of discovery that is beautiful about them, that makes them feel S tier. But then you get to a certain point in trading with them, where you're like, why would I go out and do that? I'll just trade with villagers. Why would I go out and do that?
Yeah.
I'll just farm the villagers. And then you rob yourself of gameplay. And that is a bad thing about a game. When a feature encourages you to do quirky things, you love it. When a feature discourages you from doing interesting things,
yeah,
I don't actually think it should be worse than the game. I think I could at most put it in mid, but I'd like to hear your counter case.
Oh, you raise a lot of great points. Like the Village and Pillage update too. I feel like it really messed up a lot of the game balance with the villagers. Like on one sense, it makes sense that we have these NPCs. It's fun. Oh, there's other people in this world with me, but they're kind of strange because they're in Minecraft. Of course, they would be strange. But they're also kind of limited because in Minecraft, you kind of don't want the world to be built without you involved. So it wouldn't make sense for the villagers to be actively building. Like I've seen so many mods where people have villagers that are digging mine shafts or doing other things, building. And it's like, well, I don't know if that would make sense in vanilla. So it kind of limits how much the villagers can do. So maybe they're trading, but then the trades, it's tough to balance the trades. And I agree with you. I think where they're at right now is a little bit rough. A lot of aspects of the game is like, why would I do this? I would just trade with villagers. On the other hand, they are iconic. Yeah. Everyone loves imitating their voices. They're a key part of the game.
You know, the moment in the Minecraft movie where they go to a village and the villager's really rude to them, but then eventually gives them some stuff. And then, you know, he's gonna have a New York accent for some reason. That moment's gonna be one of the best bits. It's gonna... they are objectively iconic, but also poorly balanced. Also, I wanna take your point even further and say the village itself is a unbalanced part of Minecraft. If you spawn anywhere within vision of a village, it's like I can skip the food grind, I can skip getting a bed, I can skip getting wood and stone, I don't have to dig down anymore, there's just a bunch of stone here. I can often skip making leather armor, I can skip making tools if I'm lucky, and then on top of those things you can trade. The village is a very, very big boost to the early game, and I love that as someone who plays, you know, like it's cool. It was cool the moment you discover that boost, but eventually it's so powerful that it's like, well, if you have a seed without a village, you're just at a disadvantage, as opposed to how it should feel, where it's like, I found this and it's great, which is where I'd say the desert temple's at, the jungle temple, those temples are boosts, the village is a need.
No, I think where good feels about right for him. There's
Okay.
some charm that it's a classic mob, but also that there's a lot of could be better.
I would say if I had to squeeze it myself, I'd put it here or here. Where do you think is right? A little to the left or the right of the pig?
Oh, we'll put him ahead of pigs, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that seems good. He's the evolution of the pig.
Yeah. There's the official lore. Yeah.
So now the cat, and I warn you, I am judging you based on what you say now.
Cat. I mean, other than scaring away phantoms and creepers, like how many people actively seek out a cat in the game, other than to get the achievement? Like I would have to find them to get the achievement. I feel like they're slept on so much. Like who? I know very few people have even tried to collect cats.
Yeah,
other than get the achievement.
You don't collect them. They've been collectible for a while, but you don't collect them. It is true, actually. It is cool that they bring you phantom membranes or strings sometimes while you're sleeping.
Yeah, that is fun, but they never seem to actually do. Like I know it's a thing that can happen, but it never seems to actually work. Or maybe they just don't like me. I don't know.
That's a good point. You know, I need to. I feel like it hasn't happened for me in a while either. I wonder if I'm gonna. That's a good point. I will say their worst attribute. You know, so they do something annoying and they make it cute. The whole sitting on your chest thing. And I love that. And I love that any game can annoy you and make it a fun thing. I'm not ever actually genuinely frustrated.
So I know you usually play single player. I'm usually playing multiplayer. When someone else's cat is sitting on your chest, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, get off my chest!"
Yeah, you might murder it. Yeah, I can see that.
But I'm too nice to murder it, so you try to like nudge it away and like, oh my gosh.
Is it in mid or is it in good? I think we definitely can't go higher or lower.
No higher than mid. I feel kind of bad.
I think that's fair. I want it to be good, but I don't think I can make a compelling case as to why, and so I'm going to put my emotions aside and accept it as mid. Iron Golem.
Oh, Iron Golem. The big metal guys. Oh. I don't like iron farms, but for many people it's crucial to their gameplay style. They are very charming. I have a plushie of one next to my desk. There's the whole them offering the flowers to the villager children, and
that is cute.
In games like Minecraft Dungeon, you get an Iron Golem, and you're like, oh yeah, all right, we're cooking now. I really like the Iron Golems, and then speedrunning. They're an important part of speedrunning. You know, how many times I've watched you like dig into a hole and then like try to kill the Iron Golem. Or
I've started doing the reverse and stacking up. It's one of those like small strategy things that's gone very handy. But yeah, I think that they are really well designed. They're like they can. I also feel like they were meant to be bodyguards, and it's all the other functions that make them great. And you know, maybe that's good enough that like they're village bodyguards now, and they have a better role there. But I've always kind of held it against them that you think they're awesome, and they're never that good at protecting you. They're good at protecting villages. They're good at farming. You know, they're good at using for things other than their intended purpose. So I feel like excellent would just be wrong for that reason. I couldn't do it to them. I feel like they're at best behind the dragon, but I think they're lower down than that even.
I would put them ahead of villagers. Like they accomplish their purpose really well. They're good at defending the village. When there's a raid, it's like, oh good, there's an Iron Golem. He's got this corner of the village covered. I'm going elsewhere.
Yeah, that is a cool bit about them actually. That you do feel like you're working with them in that way sometimes. I'm gonna do it so you don't have to. I think that not only is this Ocelot horrifically cropped, but I also think the Ocelot is not a useful mob in any sense of the word, and I think it doesn't even really have a good reason to exist.
There's an achievement around them, but yeah, other than that, it's like it's more of an artifact of back when cats were separate, or like
Exactly,
ocelots and
right?
cats were the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah. And now it's just, I don't know, it's the eternal debate. Like, would Minecraft be more fun with lots of more random, specific, biome-specific mobs to give it more flavor, or is it better if all the mobs are integrated into multiple different gameplay loops and have a drop or a mechanic or whatever? And yeah, I don't know. Ocelots are definitely a case for one side of that argument.
Yeah, I think that the ideal way, you know, like I think people prefer to have lots of useless things over the equivalent without the useless things. But if you offered useful versus useless, it's like you know, if you can make one good feature a year, should you also make 3 bad features a year, or should you just make the one? That's what I think the real trade-off is there. The ideal would be 4 good features a year, but is it worth also making the 3 bad ones? And I feel like that's where the Ocelot is. It's like it exists, and one day it could be great. It could tie into, you know, like you say, some extra gameplay loops. Right now, it's like, oh yeah, it's one of those guys. That's nice. He'll kill some chickens for me, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's what my chat is pointing out. They can kill your chickens too. It's like, that makes them almost worried.
I feel like
the rare situation in which I care about my chickens.
They also kill your parrots. If you
Oh.
And they theoretically protect you against creepers. Actually, do they anymore, or is that just cats?
I don't. I think they still do. I don't know.
The fact that
Definitely
Microsoft can be
down next to
100%
cave
sure.
spiders feels right.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm glad we put it there. Bats is
Boy.
It'd be rude to put it in worse than the game, but solely because I think having that strong an opinion on bats would be crazy. I think bats are kind of bad.
I think they're a fun ambient mob from the early days of Minecraft. Like they're legitimately scary in caves when you've never really been in caves before, and suddenly there's a bat flying around. It's kind of funny when they're close to a warden and the warden is driven nuts by the noisy bat. But other than that, yeah, they're pretty bad.
I've never had that situation. That sounds like a fun one. Maybe I'd love the bat if it were true. What do you think about bat redesign? Good, better now, better before?
Oh, I like the redesign. I think that the art team's been doing a good job with the mob redesigns. I like it.
Yeah.
You might be surprised just the sheer amount of thought that goes into this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it is really. I think that is the thing that would be most intriguing to share with the public. Is I don't think you could ever do it because when people are recorded, they act different. But record a meeting about something like that, and then hear all the different perspectives on why you should or shouldn't change something. Like the idea of, I'm sure the witch dropping redstone is something where some people say, oh yeah, well, obviously yes, and then some people say, but what if it's taking from this or from that? Or one of the ones that I don't remember which developer it was that convinced me on this, but an idea I've had forever and would be a evangelist stuff was villagers should build like passively in the background. Like maybe if you get a villager
you
level
do
5,
like that.
the village.
Okay.
I really believed that. And then I think it was Jeb or so. It's some developers just like, but you know, if the villagers are doing something, it takes away your agency in the world. You feel like you're existing in a world that's building around you. Every change to the world should be because you did something. And even though I argue that you are the one who is leveling up the villagers, it would never feel good. It wouldn't, you know, like when you think about how to actually program it, it's like, oh yeah, it would never actually be great.
Well, I like the way you framed it. I think that's the only way you'd want to do it, is you leveled up the villager to the top level, and the villager was like, aha, now I need to build a bigger house in the village. But yeah, you think pragmatic. Think about how many times people completely make utterly weird villages for their villagers to live in, and like, what is that villager going to do when they're stuck in like the end in like a shulker box house or something? Like, I'm ready to build. Like, what are they going to do? I don't know.
That would be extra cool, actually, because if you think about it, it's already illogical that if you have an end shulker box house for your villager, that he can magically pull out a diamond pickaxe every time you ask for one. And so it's just as reasonable that if he has 64 diamond pickaxes on him, that he's also got 4 stacks of wood, 3 stacks of cobblestone, and the moment he gets to a certain level, he finds a suitable space where there's only air around him, and then he builds a house. And then in that house, he puts a chest down where it has you know, some emeralds as a thank you, or whatever the dumb thing is, like some unique item is in there maybe. I think that would be cool. And then he gives you the hero of the village effect, or maybe he takes it away from you. I don't know. There's some there's something in there, but I'll admit that to actually come up with that and to code it and to make it feel good in all of the situations is why you wouldn't do it. It's why I love hearing like people who do make the decisions talk about it. Like hearing Jeb talk about the Red Dragon for 2 minutes, I was like, okay, he makes a very good point. I could see why I'd be annoyed if people kept asking me about the Red Dragon too.
Yeah, it's very interesting to talk to, you know, the people in the studio. They try very hard to be collaborative and to listen to lots of different voices from everywhere for these sorts of decisions. It is always interesting to see. A whole lot of thought goes into all this stuff.
If this isn't too much to ask, but I've always heard, you know, even directly from people like Ref, that Mojang has a very flat, like, structure amongst, like, you know, people, you know, like, even though you would expect that Jeb, you know, as lead game designer, is up in some glass tower somewhere, unreachable by all but his personal servants. But, you know, instead, like, him or Agnes or anyone like that, you could just have a chat with if you felt like it. Is that?
I've had very candid chats with Agnes before. She's just as nice in person as you would expect, you know, from seeing her in, you know, Minecraft Live or wherever. And those people really care about the game too, which is cool. There's a lot of people this game means so much about that work at the studio. So it's like for me, a huge portion of my life was running Minecraft servers and the friendships I made and the experiences and stuff. So, like, I love working on helping other people have fun on Minecraft servers.
Oh, that's fun. I know that I didn't realize that you made Minecraft servers before you basically ran everyone's Minecraft server. That's fun. It's a good way to get into it. Now you are the server admin for 100 million people.
Oh gosh.
Don't mess it up. Okay, the witch. What do we reckon?
The witch is moving. Let's see. I really like the witch's distinctive sound effects. The witch is... Yeah. The witch is definitely one of those mobs who run into it in the wrong situation. Like, oh, no, not the... Oh, splash potion. Oh, gosh, no. And I'm here with my, you know, stone axe and my...
It is perfect, too, because it's rare enough that you're not... Every time you're never expecting it. It is unlike the spider where you're like, okay, well, of course it's a spider. You see a witch and you're like, oh, okay, I have 8 seconds until something awful happens to me. I need to use those seconds very, very crucially. I am going to be poisoned, and then I'm going to be harmed, and then I'm going to be weaknessed, in that order. I love that. I only realized this when I was doing the super flat, but there's an exact set of logic for when she'll do each potion. So.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to be within 4 blocks of her for her to weakness you, because that's when you'd be doing melee damage. So she's going to splash you with weakness if you're close to her. Then, you know, if she's on fire, she'll drink fire resistance. If she's damaged, she'll drink a health potion. If you're within this distance, she'll throw that potion. If you're on this amount of health, she'll throw a harming potion. It's all carefully considered for the environment to be the most perfectly balanced to hurt you and ruin your life, which is why it feels extra satisfying when you can get it. You can beat all those potions. I think it's cool. It's cool. I don't know how. I don't know where I want to put it though.
I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, she doesn't have a ton of interesting mechanics, but yeah, there are those key moments, and then you see like certain like speed runs or the Minecraft manhunt type stuff where someone's stuck in a room with a witch and like, oh no, how do I solve this in 7 seconds? Like, there's some really interesting emergent gameplay there.
It's a think on your feet.
I think you mentioned your super flat world. The transformation from witch to villager is interesting too.
Oh,
let's see, what was it? No, you need the...
Other way around.
Yeah, how does that... Okay, I'm forgetting now. How does it work? What's the tech tree? How do you get the villager?
Villager is struck by lightning, it becomes a witch, but you can use a witch... the splash potion of weakness on a world where otherwise you can't brew potions, maybe because you can't go to the Nether, and then you can use that and a golden apple, which is craftable without going to the Nether, to cure a zombie villager. It is a very painful
Yes,
process.
yes.
It takes a very long time to get it right, but when you do it right, it is amazing to have a villager come out of thin air. And that is...
Yes, that's what it was. To get the village out of thin air. That was one of the most enjoyable challenges, is watching you on the Bedrock flat world. Like, okay, how is he going to do this? How is he going to do this? Oh, that's right. Witches can do this. Oh, okay. Because it seems like, oh, you get 3 layers of dirt and some stone. Have fun. Lots of slimes. Like...
That challenge started sarcastically, where I would be like, well, you know, there's no custom super flat. Let's just play the Bedrock, you know, the default one. And it's like, well, that's not going to go anywhere, and is it? And then slowly but surely, just as a joke, we started building out how, like, well, you could get this resource, you use your bonus chest to get this tree. And then eventually I'm like, you really could play, like, 80% of Minecraft if you tried hard enough and for long enough. I love that super flat world. I am looking forward to doing something like that, but in hardcore soon.
Ooh.
I've got some plans. My plan. I don't think you'd be able to say for sure if it was or is based on the. But Minecraft is updating on the 22nd of October, because that's when the PS5 thing is coming out. So there is also a small chance that hardcore comes with it. I don't know what the odds are, but I have had it in my calendar just for like 8 months now, as October 22nd is when I will do a 100 days hardcore Minecraft.
Okay.
And so there's a tiny chance that I look like a genius and that I'm a clairvoyant who can see the future. And you right now, are you listening to this saying, you idiot, or oh my god, you are a clairvoyant genius? And I would love to know. In 22 days, I'll get to know. Well, 32 days, I'll get to discover what it is.
I watch a wide variety of Minecraft news videos, and I think yours usually have the best logic around trying to guess things out. Like, let's look over the last 5 years at the gap between the final beta, you know, all these sorts of things.
We got the spreadsheets in my videos.
Rarely can I share specific dates, but I would point out, like, you know, hardcore mode is coming to Java Realms, we just revealed, and then, you know, in Bedrock Realms it's been there for a while, it's getting close, so soon TM is what I'll say.
I was shocked that it wasn't on Java Realms. Every time
I know
there's a Bedrock feature and I'm like, what? You guys didn't have that? That's not the way around that usually works. So, like, why?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was I wanted to do a live stream on hardcore mode on Java. I think it was around the Nether update time, and then I was like, wait, I can't do this on a realm? What? and then there was the snapshots too. Like, I wanted to do the Nether update snapshots. And I was like, oh, we can't do these on so I have to use some other server hosting. So like, I went back to the team, like, look, we gotta be able to play snapshots. And then April Fool's update, I want to play that on a realm. Why do I have to play April Fool's update on some other server hosting? Why can't we do it on the official Mojang servers? So I am delighted. Like, the Potato April Fool's update, there's still a ton of people playing that on their realms right now.
Right, really? Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. I didn't realize you could do realms on custom updates that way. Like,
you can. And that reminds me, there's something I can tell you about Minecraft that you do not know.
Oh, okay, exciting. What is it?
On you. Because I you know, things have to be secret if I'm not working on them. But if it's realms related, I have some discretion. So this is interesting. You've mentioned you have a realm, you play on the realm, but you play on it by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, you often phrase this like, I'm so unusual. I play on a realm by myself. You're actually not that unusual. You have a lot of other fellow players who play just like you. So I'm maybe not during our tier list. I should probably keep moving through this so I can get back to work. But I am curious to hear your ideas about what you would like as a single player Realms player, because there are a lot of other people like you. And as we add new features, we want to add stuff for, like, you know, the parent with 2 kids, or the person who has everyone from their school playing on the realm, or, you know, a YouTuber, or someone who plays just by themselves and they're the only person on the realm.
Could you give me a ballpark percent of how many people play realms by themselves?
I don't want to say a specific number, but you are not as alone as you think.
It's funny because as you say that, today's video is called "Minecraft is a single player game," and it's a 25-minute breakdown of all the reasons why, if you think Minecraft's multiplayer, you're wrong, which is a very controversial take to take. But I think the thing that would I guess improve it the most is being able to use, because all the features that exist for sharing with friends could effectively be used for milestone moments. I thought it was really like for so long. I also have to make sure we're quick. I've also got a deadline here. But for so long, the realm event thing was confusing to me. But then recently, they've been showing up, and it's like, oh, that's cool. I thought that we were on this date. I did this on this date.
Oh.
That'd be so cool if I had that going all the way back. Obviously, I know that can't happen, but that's an example of a feature I love as a single player person, and would love to see going deeper on. For example.
I was thinking about your gameplay style as I was designing Realm events too. I mean, I didn't design it by there's several people, but you know, we got a room of people. We're all discussing like, hey, what's fun? And that's really I could talk a little bit about that. Like, you come up with a big list of things, and some of them are like, oh yeah, what should we have? Oh, we should have a Realm event about someone accidentally dies because their bed explodes. Because there's the whole unique death line, like they discovered intentional game design.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's pretty funny. So we had that in there, and then like you get more people from the studio like talking about, thinking about like, well, what makes Minecraft the way it is? What's Minecraft doing? Like, I don't know. This feels kind of mean. Like we're celebrating the fact that someone inadvertently died, and then also I wanted them to be achievable. Like advancements in Java, you can get them all without dying. So we didn't necessarily want to have a Realm event that you had to die to get it. So we eventually cut it from the game. But,
yeah, I see how that's an example of one of those cool conversations behind closed doors where you're like, it sounds like a good idea until you think about the second order effects, and then you realize, it's not necessarily that perfect. Yeah, I would love to hear what's going on with the realms. But you're right, to keep things rapid firing, so you can do things also, and I can sleep eventually. I'm still just it's been like 2 weeks, but I'm still jet lagged from Vietnam to have a normal person sleeping schedule, so 10 p.m. is late for me again. So let's do a rapid fire session. Horse, mule, donkey, skeleton horse, zombie horse. We'll start with horse, because if we can have a discussion about the horse and then adjust based on everything else. I like the horse.
Okay.
I think
the horse. Yeah, the horse can be a lot of fun. It has interesting breeding mechanics, the jumping, the horse races, and then I don't know. A horse in a boat with you can be a great way to explore. There's interesting ramifications for weird challenges, like if you don't want to use hunger.
They are great to explore with when you put them in there with you.
Until they grow up now, and that's the problem.
They grow up so fast.
Yeah, I don't know. The horses are interesting. I feel like they need to be below dogs, though. I don't feel like people get nearly as attached to horses as they do to dogs.
Yeah, I see that. Actually. So then the donkey, I think, has to be below the horse. I like the donkey. It has storage, but it's never that fun to me. I feel like it's in this like same category as the dragon of like, you need a tiny bit more design work in there somewhere. It's fun, but it's not perfectly right. That's what I'm thinking.
It feels like a Shrek joke to stick the donkey and the dragon together.
It's perfect. Okay, I love it. So then the mule, I think, is going to go at the edge of excellent... Maybe.
Man, you were really bullish on these pack animals.
I like them a lot.
I don't like the mule because they seem so annoying to get when I want one.
Yeah.
Like, oh really? I gotta do breeding. Oh. Ugh.
I can put him in mid if you want. I could put him down there.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna do it for
Maybe I'm just annoyed with mules.
Yeah, I don't think mules are worth the effort. That is their problem. No. They should be worth the effort. They're not that much better than a donkey, and they are worse than a horse. They should be slightly better than both, or a lot better than one and slightly better than the other, but it just isn't. Not great. Not a fan.
Yeah. I feel like they're a Minecraft trivia answer. Like, it's one of those obscure questions you'd use in a high difficulty trivia question. What's an animal in Minecraft that starts with letter M? That's blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone would forget the mule exists.
I feel like the real forgettable mob is the zombie horse. It is inaccessible in any legitimate form. And so it doesn't really have any behavior. I think it would be bizarre to include it in any of the tiers really. I think it almost feels
Yeah.
like it's like the Illusioner. Can you really have an opinion on it?
People do that. Like, people will talk to me about the Illusioner. Like, CornerHard, when's the Illusioner coming to the... I mean, don't...
When is it? It's
play
been,
Minecraft
it's been
Dungeons? I don't know.
10, 11 years. Wait, almost 10 years. You can add it now. That's... No, I think that's an interesting problem with like leaving features in the game like that, as people go like, well, matter of time.
Yeah, the Illusioner lives on in people's imagination. People think, I see YouTube videos like, we made the Illusioner, check it out, it's a, what could it be like in my, like, I've never seen that for the zombie horse. The zombie horse should be kind of bad.
Yeah, that is a funny point, actually.
No one's
yeah,
making videos about zombie horses.
Okay, that is a convincing argument. No one cares about the zombie horse as much as the other forgotten mobs. And so skeleton horse, I have a bias against it because of my genocide run, it made me go crazy. I thought in-out, maybe, 6-hour recording video. No, that was 30-something hours of coming up to Minecraft once an hour. Is it thundering? Nope, go back downstairs. Come up to Minecraft, is it thundering? Nope, better go back downstairs. It was,
yeah, that sounds rough. I've had, to counterpoint, I've had some really happy experiences with zombie horses. If I remember right, you don't need a saddle to ride them. No. And then you can ride them underwater. Whereas normal horses are scared of water.
You're convincing me. I'm slowly moving.
I've used it as transportation on my realm before, on my just regular survival realm. Like, oh, I'm going to use my zombie horse to get around. Or my skeleton horse, not zombie
It's
horse,
an alternative to the horse in a boat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put him solidly here then. He's pretty good.
Okay, there we go.
The Guardian and the Elder Guardian we'll try to do together. We'll get the group mobs done. There is a big backlog here. It's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Guardian, Elder Guardian. What are you feeling?
Okay. I like the Guardian. The Guardian is kind of like the shark of Minecraft. Like, we didn't want to directly put the shark in because you don't want to foster misconceptions about the shark, but it's useful to have a hostile mob in the water. Well, the Guardians, they're pretty cool. They feel like they could have been better, though. Like, the Elder Guardian is not nearly as intimidating of a boss fight as it feels like it should be. Like, is it even really a boss fight?
Yeah, it feels like it's too debatably a boss fight, and that if it was convincingly not, that'd be great. If it was convincingly yes, that'd be real fun. But it's like, yeah, you get it, and then you're there. I like the ocean trim. That's a nice little, like, gives it a little bonus, but I feel like...
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's going to be mid for the Elder Guardian, and at the best, the edge of good for the Guardian. Maybe it also goes in mid, though.
That trim was my skeleton horse. I had to go through so many ocean monuments to find that trim. I killed so many of those dumb Elder Guardians. The regular Guardians are farmable if you like some of my friends have functioning Guardian farms that are kind of amusing to watch in action. I would put them above the Elder Guardian for that.
You'd put them above Elder Guardians?
Yeah, they have some quirky charm. The Elder Guardian feels like more missed potential.
I feel that. So, Zombie Villager. I feel like it's going to take a lot of convincing for me not to put him, like, there. Because he's a zombie, but then you can turn him into a
slightly better zombie. Yeah.
But even then,
can be turned into a villager is pretty interesting.
He's a worse zombie in that I feel like he takes some of the lore away from the zombie. You see one of these guys, and it feels different. It doesn't feel the same. Yet, I feel like if this guy is a mirror to me, this is a mirror to someone who's not me. It's,
Oh, interesting.
That's my reverse case argument. They're wearing silly hats. You're like, why are you wearing a hat? How did you get down here? What was a villager doing at Y-63? This isn't the villager behavior I know. I think it takes me out of the game, and I want to move him there, but I would take a convincing...
I think the only positive I can say about them is there's sometimes where I come to one of my villages and they've been transformed, and you're like, wait a minute, why are there zombie villagers here? No! There's been a zombie attack.
Yeah, the worst
That's happened
feeling.
to me before.
It's better than... I used to just assume I'd be zombie attacked because back when villagers would despawn, and that was you're right, it was better to see a zombie villager because at least you're like, I can fix this. I can cure you. I can solve this problem. but you can't solve a. You know, okay. I'm moving back to the left. He's a solvable zombie.
There we go.
Okay, so I think we
Water.
should do a run of what clearly is bottom tier mobs. There's not much debate. Endermite, kind of
Oh, yeah.
bad or worse than
Endermite.
the game. There's no way you're putting him above that. So which tier?
They're so forgettable, except for the one time you randomly throw an ender pearl and then endermite pops out and starts hurting you.
And you
And
throw it on
it's
an
so
edge, and the
uninteresting.
Endermite you get a pass tack as you're like, oh god, what am I gonna do? It's
To
not
me,
a
they're
worse
like
than the game.
Silverfish's obscure cousin.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's the, I feel like, yeah, I don't think I think worse than the game is a fair place for it.
Yeah, I'd put it down there.
Polar bear, the visible type, not the invisible type, we'll say. It'd be a transparent square if it was that type. Where are we gonna put him?
Oh man, yeah, the polar bear. I don't know. It's a bear in the game. Finally, I think Jeb had told the story about his wife wanted a bear in the game, and that was how the bear finally appeared. So that was kind of charming. But as far as gameplay wise, they're just annoying. Maybe it's kind of realistic, like you hear all the facts about polar bears if you encounter them in real life. Maybe that's accurate. I don't know.
You know,
They're kind of mid.
if I told a story that was like, oh yeah, my grandma who doesn't know Minecraft videos really wants me to have a 20-minute segment in one of my videos where I read the Bible, you wouldn't be like, oh, it's fine though because it's it's for someone he cares about. You'd say this is, if they don't care about your videos, they shouldn't have an input on them. That's where I feel the polar bear is. It's the non-Minecraft player's Minecraft feature. It sounds great,
Interesting.
and then there's nothing following it. They add the tiniest bit of life the first time you see them, and then every other time you're like, oh, I guess they might attack me. That's the one thing I have to worry about.
Yeah, we'll stay away. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay, kind of bad.
I could say mid, but I would hurt me physically from the times they've done that themselves. So another low tier mob. If we're I'm gonna pick out the easy ones. Actually, I think we've got all the low hanging fruit now. So let's go to the wither and say, what's the deal with him? Is he a best? Is he an excellent?
Wither.
Or a good? Or a mid? Or a kind of bad?
I think the wither. Oh man, I like the wither quite a bit. So it's got a lot of interesting things going for it. You made an interesting case that it's the real red dragon of Minecraft, which I respect that. You've got the whole, if you want a beacon, which are extremely valuable, you have to fight these. There's all sorts of interesting, clever farms and weird quirks, or put a wither exactly here, and then it will be stuck in the bedrock of the world. Or
you've seen that,
here's a wither killing machine. Yeah. There's interesting lore around them, and then there's differences between Java and Bedrock that I'm very curious. Will the Bedrock wither come to Java? Will it be the other way around? I honestly do not know.
Oh, that's fun that you don't.
I don't know.
No, I guess it makes sense that you don't, but in my head it's like there is an exact plan and they're just working. Okay, that I feel like the Bedrock wither is so terrifyingly awful that it's like it works because it is the big bad fight. It is, like a lot of people can't defeat the dragon, but anyone who really tries can. Whereas anyone who tries to defeat the hard mode Bedrock wither is like, that is a fight I will not be taking lightly ever again. And that's the cool thing about it to me. I definitely think it's at the top of excellent.
I think
in the mix.
And my chat's making the point, the item it drops is so good that people don't just ignore it. They're like, oh, I gotta fight the wither. I really want this. Like, the beacons are such a profound boost to your base if you have a long-term world.
Polar
You have to
bears
tackle
should
the
be
wither.
removed
The
because
wither
they
is
actively
legitimately
hunt humans in
intimidating
real
fight
life,
unless you're really
thus
cheesing
breaking
it by
Mojang's
using
real-life hostile mob
techniques.
policy.
And then you have to think about where you fight it because it's destroying the world in a way even more dramatic than the Endermen or Creepers. Yeah, I think excellent. I'd put the wither in excellent.
Someone just tipped me to make us reconsider the polar bear. Given that Mojang has a policy against, like an animal which would encourage, like the hunting of something in real life, The polar bear hunts humans in real life, and so should be removed from the game in case you look at it and think that you should hunt some humans. So, you know, that does make it extra bad game design, I think. If you think about it. If you really think about it, it's no, I'll leave it at that. But I agree with your point about the Never Star. It's so good that it's worth going through the Wither, and that is a really smart thing. With a skeleton though, frustrating.
Yeah, in my long-term worlds, I know where the Wither fights were. Like, oh, this canyon. I remember when we fought the Wither here. Like, I love that. It makes a dramatic long-term effect on your world. Unless you're really... I mean, there's ways you can cheese it, but...
Yeah, well,
if you're fighting it as intended.
I feel like it's a fight that you feel better about when you don't cheese it. I feel like...
Yeah.
I'm at the point where, like, I feel like the dragon fight, no matter how you do it, you're like, yeah, it's a dragon defeated. But when you do the Wither, you're like, oh yeah, that was a hard-earned beacon. Every time I see this beacon, I'm gonna be reminded of the cool thing I did. Yeah, I love it. Similarly, to skip ahead a tiny bit, the shulker box, or the shulker fella, is a really frustrating mob, but you're still glad when you see him. Also, I guess we got the Wither.
Yeah.
I never moved him around.
I really like them. They're very quirky in Minecraft. They're very weird. They have a lot of interesting mechanics. The whole flying fight is different than any other fight in the game, and their drop is arguably the best drop in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, make the argument for Nether Star, but shulker boxes are such a key late game item. They're farmable now if you're really clever. They got a lot going for them. I think the shulker is mob design done well.
It'd be fun to debate if you could only have shulker boxes or beacons, which would most players prefer. I think shulker boxes.
Yeah.
I think they are more valuable to... I guess it's two different types of players, and that's kind of maybe part of the genius of it, actually. Yeah, okay. I'll put it there. The Wither skeleton, I don't think we had a proper discussion. I think he's so frustrating, but, my only problems are with his, like, hitboxes. Or not his hitboxes,
yeah.
Attack boxes or whatever. I feel like it never quite feels fair. But the idea is great. It is an intimidating skeleton. He is uncaring, he is undead, he is unloving.
And you have to actually hunt them out if you want to get the Wither. I like the fact that they're extra tall, so you can be a little bit clever and build a little bar across your ceiling. And
that's what I do.
This corridor is safe.
Fortress.
There's some fun mechanics around them. I feel like I kind of enjoy. They're a challenge I'm deliberately looking forward to tackling, where skeletons are more like, like, oh no, one of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna say he's doing great here, even though I love those. It feels wrong though. Maybe he goes at the top, but I like leaving the dragon next to the donkey. You're right. It's just an emotional place. It's
thematic, yes.
So, what about the rabbit? I think the rabbit is a prime example of a feature where they tried to induce it into the gameplay loop, and then people went, oh, that's dumb, and so now he's out there. Like, they wanted to make him really useful, like this great early game mob where you're like, oh, yeah, if I find him, they'll be... But I think in his current form, it's like there is a rare chance of getting a rabbit foot, which is nice. And what else?
Yeah, like they're a little bit of flavor. They're kind of cute. But yeah, when the bundle first came out, I was like, oh, okay, early game shulker boxes. Let me see about killing some rabbits. I'm like, oh, I'm really not that great at this game because I'm struggling to kill these rabbits. And then rabbits are somehow cuter than cows, so you feel a little bit bad about hunting them down. I don't know. And there was the old, the Monty Python-esque joke with the rabbit that eventually got removed from the game. I don't know. The rabbits.
Yeah, that flavor was... Yeah, man, we really are trying to add flavor to the rabbit, and then the community is saying, no, we don't want it that way. We want him to be polar bear-esque. Man, I didn't realize how many effort points Mojang were putting in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Rabbits, yeah, they're definitely in the back of the mid pack. I might even put him below the chicken.
Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna be where it is. I think it has to be. If we're putting the chicken there, I think the rabbit has to be there. Maybe even yeah. I think that's a good spot for them. The husk. So the logical starting point is here. Now tell me if they should move up or down.
Good question. I mean, husks. I like that they're biome themed. And then I don't know, they're kind of interesting in trial chambers when they pop. I mean, they shouldn't be. It's just a zombie that looks different. I don't know why, but I see them like, ooh, a husk, ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? I think there should be for them to. I think they would be better than the zombie if they had some weakness to balance out the fact that they're stronger in so many ways.
Yeah.
They hunger attack you. They survive in the day. The only balancing factor is they only spawn in deserts, but that's not balancing to me. That's conditionality. I feel like
I forgot about it. They did. Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's a 0.4 against them. I've forgotten so much trivia about the husk already. My chat says they're slightly taller than regular zombies too. Interesting.
I need to fact check that. Well, that sounds impossible. It looks right, but it like husk height Minecraft.
Yeah, also look up the fact, Oblixoid says they convert to zombies when they sit in water for too long. Like, what? It's one of those things I would almost believe, but I have no idea if it's true.
Yeah, that sounds like a gilded fact. That can't be real. Wait, okay, here's something crazy for you. So the zombie is 1.95 blocks tall. The husk is 2.01875 blocks tall. However,
really?
I learned that because of an MCPE bug tracker. But I think it is intentional. Yeah, no. I'm not entirely sure, but it's been resolved, so that's not an actual bug. So they are too tall, maybe, but they are there to stay. So the husk is taller than the zombie, which means a husk wouldn't fit through a 2-block gap. Maybe? Oh, I don't think 0.01 blocks is enough to not fit. What a niche thing.
Yeah, I know. How utterly quirky.
So I think
I don't know.
Move them down one, but if you want to move them up one,
yeah, down one. I would say they're better than the zombie. They feel more interesting. When I see them, I'm like, ooh, those. Oh, and then they have this. They're sunproof, and they have these other quirks to them.
What about the drowned?
Oh man.
This is
see that feels like the true. I've died so many times to like a trident drowned. Like you get 2 hits and you're dead. Or at least I feels like I.
It's the true
and they can hit you while you're in a boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the true guardian of the game.
They're so.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are scary. Because of the water, they can spawn during the day effectively. If they're deep enough down there, 14 blocks, I guess it would be. You are when I'm playing hardcore, I am scanning that ocean floor for a drowned because you are just dead.
To me, so I would argue go up a tier because to me they're the magma cubes of the sea. Like magma cubes are really dangerous, but I know where they're going to be, and then I'm kind of ready for the fight. And if you're going for underwater archaeology or you're doing something else underwater a whole bunch, like you're like, okay, I may encounter a drowned, and yeah, they're a legitimate threat if they've got that trident in your hand. Like, nope.
That's convincing. Okay, yeah. I'll give them the magma cube effect. A couple people have jumped in and said, "What the heck is with putting the magma cube above the slime?" But I think our reasons are well stated, and I think this is the thing about design. Sometimes being hated is clever, and sometimes being loved is dumb. And I think that is what our list fairly reflects. So another easy one. Yeah, you go. Sorry.
I was going to say, just to add on to why the slime belongs there, from a game design reason, you shouldn't ever have to think about chunks or where chunk borders are. But with the slime, you do. And I would argue that's a mark against the slime.
Yeah, that ideally it would be exclusively biome-based now that the swamp thing happens. That would be
that's
more
true.
fun and in-game findable. Maybe you grab a swamp map from a villager to get to one of those things. I feel like that would be a cool way to find slime chunks if they were always below swamps, or most swamps had them. Versus, let me go on the Minecraft chunk base, or let me just trial and error my way on the exact borders of where 16 blocks is. I agree. That's a good reason for them to be bad game design. So the stray, I want to put, again, default place should be near the skeleton, and I want to put him down a bit because the slowness arrow annoys me.
Oh gosh, it is so annoying. Yeah.
Maybe
that snow room in the trial chambers. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's well designed, but it's like, the annoying slow arrows.
You need.
I like how the powdered snow is like
I agree.
a scary thing in that room. Like, oh no, powder. Like realistically, powder snow. Like you can get your way out of it, but it's a little intimidation factor.
I think it's clever because the first few times you encounter powdered snow, you panic, and getting that panic in is what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Even if you know what to do, you're like, I haven't encountered this one before. Okay, bogged. Up or down?
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any real... I mean, they spawn in different locations. Are there any gameplay differences between them and the skeletons? I don't remember.
Poison arrows, slower... they hit...
poison arrows.
They hit... they pull their bow back, like, slower, so the first attack will take longer. I prefer bogged spawners when I'm doing a trial chamber with high-end gear, because they'll die in one hit to a smite sword with less damage on it because they have less health. When they first added boggeds, they weren't that unique, but they made them quite cool later on. I think they're an example of one of those features that, like, is one of the downsides of following snapshots week by week. Is when they added them, they were pretty bland, and then they got really cool by the end. So I would say up here.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're similar to the husk going above the zombie. They're more interesting skeleton.
Yeah, I've encountered them in swamps like once. I don't know if I encounter them more there, I might be more, biased for or against them. But based on just the trial chamber alone, I'm excited to see them. I'm playing with fire. It's in exchange for the easier kill, I have an easier chance of being killed, and I like that trade-off there.
Yeah.
So, we've got the Evoker, or the Evoker, that's the right name.
Evoker.
Mix them up with the
He's got the little robe.
They look similar, chat. No, it's not just me. I'm not crazy. So where should the Evoker go?
I kind of like the Evoker. Like, there's a good drop. We got the Totem of Undying. Unique attack with the little... Are they called maws? The little teeth that chomp up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun, interesting challenge. You're only going to get them in the Woodland Mansion or the Raid. And then when you see, like, the Minecraft arcade game or Minecraft Dungeons, how they're a fun mob to riff off of for the other spin-off games.
Yeah, they are riffed off a lot, you're right. So, I think bottom of excellent.
Oh, yeah?
I think
no
maybe just above the Witch.
I think they're more interesting than the Witch. They have a unique attack mechanic in the game, and they have a great drop that you actually, like, you might go hunt them out specifically for their drop.
Yeah, it used to be worth going to the Woodland Mansion 10,000 blocks away just to get it. I think, though, Vindicators also found there. I think they are frustrating in a way that I can't pin it down. If this is a unique mob with unique attacks and unique reason to find it, the Vindicator is the opposite. He is not unique. He's quite generic and bland, but he does far too much damage. Like,
ridiculous amount of damage. He does not look dangerous enough for the amount of damage that he does, and then I've died so many times because of that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna put him. You don't even mid. I think I want to put him in kind of bad. I feel like he doesn't indicate the damage to the player effectively. He runs too quickly. Maybe the only saving grace is that he has that Johnny Easter egg, but I don't even love that. I don't know a Clockwork Orange or whatever that's from. I've tried to look up the reference. I still don't love it. The Killer Rabbit I think is funny to people whether they've watched Monty Python or not. Everything else is great. I don't know if I love him. What do you reckon? Where's he going?
Yeah, I think all your points are valid. He's way too dangerous, and then not super interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of bad.
Mid to kind of bad. Yeah. It feels like a missed opportunity mob.
Yeah, totally agree. You still okay for time? I know it's like the middle of in between like work times for you, so I want to make sure that you're not there.
My chat is pointing out this is my longest live stream I've ever done now.
Whoa, really?
I do need to get back to work. Maybe we should do some sort of lightning round. I know you have a time constraint as well.
Okay, so let's do a fish lightning round. You just give me a tier for each of the fish, and I'll contest
salmon.
It if you're wrong.
One of the most iconic mobs outside the game. Right. That feels a little bit homerish to put it up in the best tier, but the salmon, like, they're fun. They look different. I don't know. I like the salmon.
I like the salmon. I think that.
Like in the Seattle area, it's a big local delicacy is salmon. Whenever you watch
the fish ladders are the thing, but no, you're like we eat them.
Oh yeah, the fish ladders. Yeah, salmon are just great, and then we need fish ladders in Minecraft. Huh.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. But yeah, salmon's a local. Yeah, okay. I've got a lot I want to say, but we'll lightning round. Put them in excellent.
Yeah.
What about cod?
Yeah, I feel also just the cultural aspect of the big salmon for Bedrock players for a long time was such a fun thing.
Yeah, it started as such a silly little joke, like the reason I play Bedrock is because the fish is slightly bigger, and then it became an actual identity point, which I thought was fun.
Yes.
Cod. Which tier should they go in?
Cod are like a mid fish.
Yeah. They're right where the squid is. Like, they exist.
Yeah, they're swimming. Like, you can eat them. They're a little bit better than the fish, than the squid.
Pufferfish.
Pufferfish, potion ingredient, but they look kind of funny when they're in a bucket. I'll give them that. They're over a squid at least.
That's a compelling point. I feel like good because I think they do have that tiniest bit of like, oh, how would you get around them? They might poison you if you're not careful.
Well, the model of them is really great too. It's great pixel art. Like, look at those little floating pixel spines, and just the amount of work those pixels are doing on the pufferfish is fantastic. Okay, good tier for me.
Okay, what about the tropical fish? The clownfish as it is here, but there are several thousand variants.
Yeah, they're good for aquariums, but other than that, it's just, I don't think you can eat them, can you? And
you can, but there is no reason you ever would. You feed them to ocelots. That's cat
food.
Yeah, I think
they're good for taming cats.
Yeah, you're right. They should have more intrinsic value rather than just, I guess you could collect them all value. But I do think that I guess you collect them all. Like, I watch someone, every now and then I see a YouTube video and I'm like, that is a cool project that I actually really admire versus like, this is some algorithm bait or whatever.
Yeah.
And someone got every single tropical fish and I was like, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, if you see someone really lean into a Minecraft aquarium, the tropical fish are always part of it. So I feel like maybe they should go up to good tier at least. They shouldn't be down with the ghasts and the cats and stuff.
Okay, we'll put them up here, just behind the magma cube. That seems like a good place for them. So another lightning round. The pigman and the zombie pig. Sorry, the piglin and the piglin brute. I like that you can trade them.
Piglins. Yeah, I like it. They've got a bunch of, like, I like the barter mechanic. I like how it's different than villagers. I love their interactions in the ecosystem with the hoglins. They have their own structure. Like, they're very quirky. Like, they show up, like we've seen in the Minecraft movie. They're going to be there. Their Minecraft Legends are a key part. The Minecraft Dungeon. Like, it's just a very key part of Minecraft.
I think that means they have to be excellent or best. I think best isn't quite right, but I think they're right up here in the middle of excellent. Piglin Brute.
Piglin Brute. I like them. They're unique. They're dangerous, but it's like the opposite of the Vindicator. They look dangerous. You see one of those, like, ooh, I'm staying. He's got a gold belt buckle right there. I'm staying away from him. Like the Vindicator just looks like, bland.
It takes a really long time to work out how to beat the Piglin Brute without ruining your life too. That's the beauty of like the Magma Cube. I think he's really good for that. But he is less iconic than the Piglin and less useful. It's more a threat to dispatch, and there's no reason to dispatch him. So I think he's at the bottom of excellent. I think that's where he's going to be. So now we'll do a round for the passive mobs that exist that are maybe less useful than the main ones. Llama, I think, is kind of bad. I want to love the llama, but there just aren't many reasons to.
Yeah, they look cute. The spitting is kind of interesting. Maybe above a zombie horde. But
okay, we'll put him like here maybe.
Yeah, right around Ocelot. Yeah. A little more interesting than Ocelot.
Fox.
The foxes are kind of fun. The way they pounce around. They have a lot of character to them as a passive mod. I'd put them above kind of bad. Do they still have the thing where they can hold like a flame enchanted sword in their mouth?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
chickens?
They can ruin your life.
I think that's fun. That puts them above things like cats for me.
Are we going to good maybe even?
I don't know. I like that they have. I feel like Fox is like passive mob done right. They're cute. There's multiple variants. Got the Arctic ones. They can hold stuff in their mouth. It's something you can do with berries. I hate berries.
Yeah. I don't like that they're only trustable. I like that they're theoretically a way to get emeralds. It's like a fun survival use case for them. But I just, I'll put them in good. I think that's when I think about how cute they are, and I think about you're never that.
They have a lot of charm.
I think they've got more potential, but that's not a reason to put them below good.
When they're leaping attack too, where they leap over fences to get to your chickens, like I just think they were well done.
And it's a good when a fox gets into your chicken farm, a part of you's like annoyed, but another part of you's like, well, this is funny. And I feel like when you can be on board with a bad thing happening, that's a good sign. I think pandas are at the bottom of mid. They were so close to being better.
They have so much. There's so much baked into them with the panda genetics and the breeding and stuff, and then it just doesn't really matter too much when you're actually playing the game. I would put them above cats for sheer effort. But then cats actually have some useful gameplay mechanics. Pandas are just decorative and cute.
Wait, you think cats go above pandas, right? Not the other way around?
Yeah, I think because the cats, there's a couple, like maybe I want to scare away creepers or, phantoms or whatever, but the pandas are just adorable. And then you can
The brown panda is fun to get, but then you get it and you're like, oh, okay. That's a problem.
Well, there's the snotty-nosed panda with the booger.
Yeah, and the rolling pandas. It's all so cute, but it's just cute. They didn't land the rest. Similarly, frogs. By gameplay, I feel like the frog learned from the panda. It's cute, and then it does cool things. I feel like it.
I think I would argue culturally in Minecraft culture, the frog has really earned a spot. Like that Minecraft Live trailer is easily the best one with the dancing frogs. The frog walking animation spawned a whole big, interesting debate in the community about, how good should Minecraft mob animations be, which was very interesting. Frog lights, I would argue, are maybe the most attractive light source in the game, one of the top tier.
If you'll forgive me sounding like a flat earther or a 9/11 truther or something, I feel like the frog's love and iconicness is manufactured. Unlike the creeper and the enderman, which are all the community naturally loving it. The Minecraft have been making things to make us love the frog, and they have been succeeding. You know, it is true. You know, they, you know, and because of the fact that all mobs are androgynous, you know, they have inherently turned the frogs gay. That is, that's a fact. That's not my opinion there. I think, therefore, the frog can't be at the top of excellent tier, and I think it might even go into good, because if you really look at it as a mob, it's fun to find, it's fun to grab, but they're also a bit of a pain, and does anyone actually care about? Actually, I care about the variants because of the you know, I've spoke myself out of it. They're an excellent tier. I can't move them down.
Tadpoles, the frog eggs, unique, weird mechanics. Tadpoles are cute. Get a tadpole in a bucket. They look adorable. I like the frogs. I think it was Panda's done right.
Yeah, Panda's done right is where I think we can leave it on that. The Hoglin and the Zoglin are another couple we can do together. I think the Hoglin is really fun as a fight. I love the way it encourage, like it's almost the Bastion thing, but just for the Crimson Forest. It's really cool to come across one of these guys.
You know where you're going to find them. They're interesting. You would avoid them potentially, but also if you're doing a start in the Nether run, which is one of my favorite challenges, is getting into the Nether from scratch. Like mastering a farm of hoglins is like an important step in getting good food.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I really like the hoglins.
Pork and leather, they're really really good actually. You know, I think they're really well designed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, leather.
Yeah, the
a
reason
way
we gave
to
the cow
get leather
high mark,
doesn't
we
involve
give
killing
the
cows.
Hoglin a high mark. Zoglin though, it's like the zombie horse. Like it might as well not exist, because when it does exist, you're like,
it's like, oh gosh, what have I done?
Yeah, right. It's not even a frequent enough thing to do wrong, you know? Like if it was a thing you would want to do frequently, and then you're reminded why you shouldn't. I don't love the Zoglin. I want to love the Zoglin, but it's got too many flaws, not enough benefits. Goats. What do you reckon about goats?
Man, it would be interesting if the goat horn became a more integral part of gameplay.
Yeah, it would be.
I don't know. The goats are cute. The goat horn, I don't know if it's worth the incredible amount of effort. The goats have some fun. Like, they have a lot of personality in them, but I don't think they're as successful as frogs, honestly.
I think just as a small aside, one of my little segments in my video about Minecraft being a single player was trying to work out which items only worked in multiplayer, and the only compelling one that is actually multiplayer only is the goat horn. There is no reason to use it in single player. And so for me, you know, I want to be like, terrible. It's the mob that breaks the rule that Minecraft is a single player game only. But realistically, it is. It's better than the llama, but worse.
It's a very low probability danger if you're up in a high mountain. Like, a goat might suddenly ram you and knock you off the cliff. But, like, how often is that actually going to happen when you're playing just regular vanilla? I don't know.
I want to love it. Don't love it. It's sad, but it's true. Every time I speak to Olraf, he's really. I think he did a lot of work for it. He's really happy for it. He's like, look at this. And I'd be like, nope, not for me. I'm sorry. I want it to be for me, but it's just not. What about the Vex?
Oh man,
This little guy.
I noticed you got the old model there too.
Oh yeah.
So there's interesting.
Weird decision.
Interesting. I love when. So Mojang will rarely share a lot of lore about stuff, but it's fun when things happen and it gets community talking about what the lore might be. So the fact that Vex model is so similar to the Allay has sparked a lot of interesting conversations, which I enjoy reading. Yeah, I think the Vex is fun. It's an interesting threat. To me, they're just so attached to the Evokers. They're not as cool as the Evokers, but yeah, I like them. They're at least good.
Yeah, they're good. It's weird because it almost feels unfair to rank them by themselves because they are the spawn of another mob that you can't willingly use or control. But excellent itself does feel wrong, so I think good is probably about right.
Yeah.
Whereas the good version of the Vex, the Allay, I went into it wanting to hate it, but it is a cool little mob, and it's so useful for those niche little farms with the
Yeah.
silverfish slime things.
There's very specific situations in which they're really cool. Honestly, though, I just enjoy having them hang around. Like I had we had a Realms team event a while back where we had some people join the team and they hadn't really played Minecraft before at all.
Wow.
So they're like, hey, it's Friday afternoon, let's all play Minecraft together. And so we started from scratch on a brand new realm, and there happened to be a pillager tower close by, and they had the allays. So I got in, I got allays, and I had them early game, like really, like I had like stone tools and I had allays. I was like, oh, these are fun, because you can just assign them to, oh, pick up cobblestone for me, or do all the early game things. And I don't know, they're charming, and then they look cool. I don't know. I know some people felt like they should have been more useful.
With people who are new for that reason, like you kind of get to be goofy with it a bit more and try out things like the allies. That is a really compelling argument. Like they are very fun to just have around. You know, you got me. I'll move him there. I'll put him here. I like him. Does that look good?
Yeah, I like it. They connect. They have interesting connections with music and mechanic. They have a lot of personality baked in. I like them. And then they're the weird edge case for like, oh, it's the infested farm with silverfish and the allays. They heal so fast. Like I love that they're this weird edge case that can be exploited. That's always fun in the game.
Here's an interesting case someone wants to make. Trading villagers bring llamas. Llamas bring leads. Leads bring me the power to make any passive mob I walk by permanent. So is the Wandering Trader a great mob, or is it useless because you use it just for the leads?
See, I'm the sort of player where I don't even like killing them for the leads because I would feel bad.
Oh, you don't.
So for me, it's
commit
like
atrocities against your humanoid Minecraft characters.
Oh, I don't.
The
I
war
just
crimes
can't.
are half the fun of Minecraft. If you're not
I know for some
the
people
Geneva conventions, what are you even?
Yeah.
You've missed the point of the game, I think.
Yeah, some people it's their leash supply, but for me, I'm just like, man, why don't you have better trades? And then when they do randomly have like, oh, blue ice, oh, something I legitimately want a lot of, like, oh, I can't trade with them for a lot of blue ice.
You get 6.
Like if I could get blue ice in bulk, yeah, but no, I get a disappointing amount of blue ice, and then it's so much RNG, and I don't know, they feel annoying.
There's
been so many bugs where they show up.
That they buy things from you as well as sell things to you, and they've got a few more useful trades. But otherwise, yeah, to make for the ultra flat map we made, we had to like really give them a lot of like extra things to make them worthwhile. They are useful for leads exclusively, and that's kind of bad design. When a trading mob is useful for murdering it and taking the thing that ties it to its llamas, which means I think we could perfectly put the trading llama next to it, right?
Yeah.
Put them together.
Yeah, trading llama. It's
or maybe
it's
even
the llama that always spits at you when you get the lead.
Yeah, I feel like there's no positive reason for him to exist either. That's the annoying bit. You want there to be some purpose, but you can't even like tame him or ride him. He exists for flavor and flavor only, like in the most literal sense of that. I think I'm going to move him down further. I think he's doing a good job staying out of worst in the game, if you ask me. I think he's done a very, very good job being there. Okay, Parrot, what do you think?
Oh gosh, I don't know. They have a little bit of cuteness to them, but I think in theory they could be useful if you have one on your shoulder and it alerts you to the fact that certain mobs are nearby. But it's such an edge case mob.
That is a. I never even thought about that. I like the parrot. I like that they can mimic mobs and they're colorful, but good feels like a stretch. I think they're in the mid pack.
Yeah.
I think they're there. They got some cute designs. I love.
They're next to cats. That's pretty good. They have a couple really fringe situations.
I love the way they dance. I forgot until just now, but that is one of my favorite things in Minecraft.
The head movement. Yeah.
So good. Dolphins.
Man, dolphins, Grace, buff. I don't know. They're cute. I don't know.
We'll just throw them in best then. Just leave them up there. Just
But
right next to... See, right? It feels wrong, right? You couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Even
they
in,
can't be up there.
even in excellent,
No,
it's
because
like, you couldn't do that either. They're not. They're
do
not.
they have any? Are there any useful situations for a dolphin other than making you swim slightly faster, or be? I think your boat travels faster when they're close. I don't remember.
Does it? I don't. Oh yeah, I was surprised to learn, but I think it does. But they also, when you feed them seagrass, they'll point you to a near structure. I've never had
that's
that
right.
actually be useful though. I've tried it so many
And
times,
they do a bad job of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll just lead you in circles. They put them in mid. They belong in mid. They
Okay,
were trying hard.
Right
but
down here in mid.
They're of the panda ilk.
Yeah, right. You know, right next to the panda. Similar vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, so turtle, I think is a. I really like the idea of the turtle. I feel like it's a good mob. It's really weird to like try and get your hands on some scutes. Maybe so weird that it becomes a mid mob. I could concede, but I feel like it's got a really unique reason to have it. The potion is so unique. The armor is so unique.
Yeah.
And the way you find the mob and the way it lays eggs and all of that stuff happens, it flips what you expect from a mob on its head. And that's probably frustrating if you're not reading a guide or watching YouTube videos or whatever. But I like them.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting, because it's a relatively realistic representation of turtles in game, but also, like you said, if you're like, yeah, I'm going to get that potion of the Turtle Master, I'm going to get this, like, the gameplay journey, like, you have to deliberately set yourself out on that journey of raising the turtles and stuff, and then the way the zombies, like, gleefully stomp the eggs is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like it, it's this whole, it's like a side quest in Minecraft, like, utterly optional, but quirky and fun.
That's what Minecraft needs in a good mob. It's a little side quest to send you down, a little fun thing to achieve, like with the frog, perhaps we could say.
Yeah. So
we'll just throw this there and not ask any more questions. What about the pillager then? You know, the pillager, he's pretty good. You know, he's it's yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That phantom hovering above everything else is an annoyance. It's somehow fitting.
Oh, sorry.
Did...
sorry. I didn't. Right. My bad. Sorry. I that is my mistake. I should be moving up better. I hope I fixed your concerns now.
I mean, I like that they give you a way to repair your elytra if you haven't gotten a mending villager, but I mean, I don't know. Forcing you to sleep is just an annoyance.
Yeah,
I don't know. You had an interesting point.
Yeah.
Like, if they were there from the very beginning, maybe they would just be beloved. Like, oh, yes, of course, phantoms, yes. It's always been that way. I don't think they're as bad as slimes, but they're a disappointment. They're kind of like vindicators to me. They have some potential there, but it didn't turn out very well.
I totally agree that they it's the context that's so, I think, like, it's a contentious context they were added. They didn't win a mob vote convincingly. They won a 2,700 vote Twitter poll by 2%. They were added really, really late. The reward for them isn't considered that great. You know, there's so much that they could be so in any of these tiers, just based on how they were added, just the very slight variations here. But I think worse in the game. The slow falling potion though is genuinely very useful for beating the dragon the first time for players who are cautious of it. That's why they're in the best of worst in the game, in my opinion, because they have a redeeming feature for some players sometimes, but in exchange everyone else suffers all the time. Yeah, that's my stance. I'm gonna stick with that. So then we have the Ravager, the Pillager Beast.
Oh yes, I like the Ravager. Like the animation with the head sticking out, and the whole wave battle of the raid. I think the Ravager really makes it. I mean, you got the witches and the evokers, but the Ravager is really like, oh yeah, we're fighting a raid. Okay, ooh, there's a big tank coming in. Oh boy. Like I like them, and then they're dangerous enough. You have to pay attention to them, but They don't feel unfair.
Yeah, they don't. I like that about them. They don't feel unfair. They feel like you are gonna get this done, but it's gonna be a bit hard from you. Like you feel like use some range, get this. When there's a pillager on top, pillager on top, you're like, what the heck am I gonna do about this?
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it is. I like it for that reason. Yeah, I'll put it. Should we move it into excellent or should we leave it in good?
Yeah, I feel like it's maybe even better than the Iron Golem because it does what it does pretty well. The Iron Golem could have done more, but the Ravager, it really makes the raid feel fleshed out.
I think not as good as the Wither Skeleton, not as satisfying to defeat, but yeah, I like it. I think that's a good spot for him. So we have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mobs left. 9, if I miscounted. Yeah, 9. So this is a big moment where our tier list is almost complete. We have 9 of our 79 mobs left to go. And so we'll start with the low-hanging fruit, the Armadillo. He's nice. He's kind of mid though, if I'm being honest.
I think the execution was pretty good with the way they ball up when you run around them. The way the eyes moved around, I thought was a good bit of listening to the community for the feedback. Dog armor is worth getting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think, okay, I'll put it this way. When a feature comes out, sometimes you're like, okay, that's how it's going to be. This feature makes me think somewhere in the future, he's going to have an even better use. But can you bank that? Does that count towards a mob if you're like, this gives you promise? Or should you count it just by how it is now? Because I think that's how I would decide between mid and good.
Yeah, I don't know, next to the Fox feels pretty good. Like, it has a more useful drop than the Fox. It has a lot of personality. The Fox is a little bit cuter. That's pretty cute.
Bottom of good? That's what you reckon we should do?
Yeah, right there next to the Fox and the Turtle. It's some good company. And the Pufferfish. There's some very cute mobs that have some interesting things going on there.
What about the bee? He's flying around trying to find his place.
Yeah, the honey blocks are... It's interesting if you're into redstone and piston contraptions, and then... I don't know. It taught me the difference between a bee nest and a beehive, which I didn't know before the game came out.
Yeah, that's valuable. You know, it's like salmon that way, teach you about the real world. I like them. I feel like, you know, again, it's a small thing, but unlike a lot of the other really iconic Minecraft mobs, including ones added later like the piglin, I feel like it's a tiny bit manufactured. It's a bit like Minecraft, we're like, look, we're adding the bee. Don't you get it? The bee, it's so incredible. And I like the bee, but I feel like it's not quite as culturally important as the rest. It's really fun that it's a silly scale. It's really fun that you get honey blocks. It's one of the best mobs for just the built-in gameplay loop it has by itself. So it is right between these two tiers. But I don't think it's as iconic as every other mob in the...
No.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I've had fun moments where, oh no, the bees are all angry. Oh no, my hive is ruined. Like, but I feel like they belong below the piglin brute and the allay and the frog.
Right at the edge here, then. Okay.
Yeah,
sure. Leave him there.
There you go.
The camel is a nice, easy one. I think he's not better than a horse. I think that would be insane to say.
Not better than a horse. I feel like better than a llama. I mean, the llamas have the whole caravan thing going on. I don't think we talked about, but honestly, that's kind of a pain to make the caravan actually work. I feel like they're better than goats.
Yeah, I feel like better than goats. Better than pandas? Yeah, no doubt.
You can ride them. They have the whole long leaping mechanic. It's kind of fun.
Better than parrots and cats? That's a little bit more debatable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like they're in that neighborhood.
By a lot. I think you can ride them, but then they don't do as many fun things for you. That's the one fun thing is that you do get to ride them. Are they better than foxes and armadillos in ways? But they're definitely worse than the skeleton horse. I think it's somewhere between the skeleton horse and the parrots.
Between skeleton horse and mule, they got to be better than the mule.
Yeah,
camels are objectively more interesting.
I think we could do that. Put him at the top of mid. He is the banner holder of mid. one day he'll get promotion into the league up, but not today is not that day. The Strider is a
Oh man,
is a
I love the
mob.
Strider.
It's
the
I love him
perfect
so much.
ugly cute mob for me, and I love that we ended up with that instead of like lava boats, like just boats that can sail in lava made out of netherwood.
Yeah. It is the perhaps the best mob from the Never update from a design standpoint. It is fun to ride him. He creates fun where otherwise you just have a bore. He's definitely not an S tier. He's not the best tier, but he is one of these. I don't think he is actually though. As much as I love him and I love his role, I think it's at the upper end of good. I think it's fun when you get to use it, but it's really niche. You need to find one. You need to have a saddle. You need to have this really particular fishing rod. I think there's too many requirements, but not enough speed and a Never that isn't built around him.
I mean, I have had playthroughs. There was my fastest speed run ever of the game, which was like 3 hours or something. The Strider was critical because I had the saddle already. I'm like, oh, this area is way too dangerous for me, but I can just ride on the Strider. Oh, this is great. Like, I don't know. I think they perfectly capture the Minecraft design aesthetic of ugly cute, and then they have some situational usefulness. They're very adorable with how they shiver when they get out of the lava. There's the baby Striders.
If this is your longest stream ever, how have you speed ran Minecraft in 3 hours? Did you do multiple sessions or?
Oh wait, I think that was my longest stream ever. Okay.
Ah, there we go.
I think the person saying this was not accurate.
Yeah, got you there, Mr. Chatter.
There,
you think I'm not going to fact check you? I've got the logic and facts over here. You said it yourself when you said my news videos tend to use more logic. I'll take that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Impeccable reasoning.
Yeah. I do think that leaves us with 5 mobs remaining, and
okay.
I think we'll start with the glow squid because we've got a benchmark better than the squid, right?
Yeah. It's better. It's more practical. There's all the Minecraft community, the baggage, I don't know, you might say with the glow squid, but I think looking at it from a gameplay perspective, yeah, it's a better squid.
I think he's better than the pillager and the guardian, and worse than the parrot and the zombie piglin. That would be my spot for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that he perfectly is above the squid there. Actually, that's even better.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it. Axolotls.
And they're cute. They're fun to fight with. It'd be more fun on Bedrock if you could have a bucket of tropical fish in your offhand, which you can't.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you hearing this? Yeah, I was gonna say you hearing this, Mojang. I don't know how that works. With, I do think the axolotl is a solid example of a cute mob that then has function, that then has like that tropical fish effect if you want to find the rare one. I think that means that he has to be better than a tropical fish.
Yeah.
And
that's a great
think
point.
He's right around the Strider sort of area. Maybe behind the Iron Gold, though.
I saw something showing like global awareness of the axolotl like skyrocketed after it was added to Minecraft, which was kind of cool too. There's an interesting amphibian in real life. People are aware of that, so I like the axolotl for
Minecraft is
that.
shifting what people know about the real world. I bet more people think obsidian is a hard material now than is a glass material, because there is more people who have played Minecraft. I think more people know what Bedrock is, or things like that. I think there are so many cultural shifts that Minecraft has resulted in. And I see why that leads like some Minecraft, people, not necessarily all developers, but people who work there to be like, we need to use this for good, and not evil. But part of me just thinks it's cool regardless of how it works. It's a force. It doesn't have to be a force for good or for evil. It can just be a force. That's my like hot take at least. But I love the the warden is gonna encourage people to stay away from big blue strangers. That's bad, maybe.
Yeah, if I see blue antennas coming out, I know. So I personally love the Warden. I think the Ancient City is maybe my favorite. It's between that and the Trial Chambers for my favorite structure in the game. I think it's brilliantly executed. I love it's a different style of gameplay. I'm just a big fan of the Warden.
Okay,
I don't know. I would argue hard for excellent.
I think excellent is the right place for him. I think
he's like the Wither and the Shulker. It really makes the structure.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. I think that they couldn't have done it at the time, but now we need to give him a real drop. It can be a trim. It can be there needs to be something to reward. The point was to get him in there as like he's meant to be the avoidable threat, not the defeatable threat. Now that we've had that in the game for long enough, it'd be cool to turn him into something special, something more. Maybe you kill him and something happens with that portal, you know, like there's a trillion ideas for what he could do. I would love if there was some reason to fight him, besides bragging rights. Or maybe the fact that it's just bragging rights is what makes it cool, but that's what I think is missing that puts him below the other two mobs.
Oh, that's true. The other two both have critical drops, yeah.
That's true. That's, yeah, I might even put him below the horse. You know, the horse is going to be with you all the way to the end. He's going to, quite literally in, you know, some of my cases. Warden's not going there with you. Warden's just hanging around. So, yeah, how do you feel about that? You think that's a fine space?
I would put him ahead of the horse for me. The Warden is just such a charming part of the whole Ancient City. I love the Ancient City. The whole gameplay loop. It wouldn't be there if the Warden wasn't there. Horse, like, it's fun.
I'll accept it. Yeah, that's right. That's fair. That's reasonable to say. There is no Ancient City without the Warden, so the Warden is crucial, and so the Warden's good. Okay, Sniffer. He's got. Okay, I can't not look at this mob and see this as like a smiley face every time. It's so much cuter if you see it that way. But I think the Sniffer should be like the Bee. In theory, it's got this nice self-contained gameplay loop. But in reality, the Sniffer feels like it has a self-contained
It's a prehistoric panda.
That leads nowhere. What did you say, sir?
Yeah. A prehistoric panda.
Yeah. It has so much in common with the panda, really. It's I think it's better than that. I think it's it has those seeds, it has those flowers. It goes a little bit.
Yeah, the flowers are a flex. Yeah. It's more like pandas you just find just spawned in the jungle. Like, oh, I'm in a jungle. Of course, there's pandas. Like the Sniffer, there's an actual journey to get one. There's some flex value if you have a Sniffer farm. Yeah. And you've got the ancient flowers.
Love the flex value of it for sure. That's a good way to put it. That leaves us with one mob. It's gonna be done.
Oh,
afterwards.
The breeze.
It's been so long. I didn't expect this tier list to last as long, but it's been a delight.
Yes, it has. Go? Oh man, it's tough to put them. Like, I like the breeze is very unique. I like the movement patterns. You hear like Agnes talk about the breeze. Like, it's mischievous, and you can kind of feel that when you fight it. Like, it has that kind of personality. But I don't know. It's not as good as some of these other excellent tier mobs. I think it's maybe above. Like, if you consider like the wind charge is pretty interesting. Gameplay ramifications. I don't know if you want to connect the mace to the breeze, but I would maybe put it above the Ender Dragon, and it has to be above the bogged. Better than the bogged for sure.
Yeah, it's okay. So I think we're too close to the breeze for me to be objective about it. As you know, I get excited about Minecraft updates. I love playing through new content, but the way you play through stuff when it's fresh is different than the way you'll play through a little later. And I think right now the breeze is a little bit mischievous, but also it's one of those positional annoyances. Like you feel like you should be in charge of where you are, but the game, it's like the skeleton where you're like, rather than, oh, this is a fun fight. I love the redstone aspect, but it feels like the positional aspect's a bit more common. But at the same time, I think it's very similar to the blaze in that it feels like an important mob, and the breeze rod feels like such a cool thing to get. So yeah, it's like your place, like you say. You could make a really good argument it's above the warden for that reason, because you can use it to make one of those legendary free items, you know. So I think we can put it in excellent tier, but I wouldn't put it high in excellent tier.
Yeah, agreed.
But
I think if you include the mason, it has to be excellent tier. And it's fairly well designed, but I would put it below the warden.
Yeah, I think I could see it's better than the witch, not better than the evoker though. I wouldn't say. That'd be
no evoker. I feel like evoker is more well done.
And so that is our tier list. We did it. We
our tier list. We did it. It only took
I
don't even know how long.
3 hours, I think. I needed to start getting ready to sleep about an hour and 23 minutes ago, but I enjoyed spending our time together much more.
But likewise, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for it was fun to hear your thoughts on everything and talk through them all.
Yeah. That's the fun thing about the tier list. I'm glad I got you. It's a shame we couldn't do the second half of the stream we had planned.
I know. Some of my viewers are really looking forward to that. We'll have to do that again sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to
we'll just start with
set that up. I think. I do have one question for you actually. If you are, this is me being like, oh yeah, my nephew works with computers, so I'm gonna ask him why my Amazon basket's deleted itself or something. But I went to load up Minecraft on my PlayStation 5 today, you know, as you do, and as I loaded it up, I have another realm that I haven't seen anywhere but my PlayStation. Is there a PlayStation-specific bug that makes realms appear? I think I have it. Like,
so that
okay.
that was a realm I had set up specifically for our stream idea.
Oh.
It's interesting that it only appeared on your PlayStation, though, and I'm not seeing it on my Xbox. I think that's probably more an artifact of I was using special developer means to make the realm appear, and I did something wonky on my side with it. I don't think that's a genuine bug.
You managed to make a realm for me? I guess that makes sense. You have that ability, yeah. I can't believe I've never tried to abuse my... I've never tried to be like, okay, so how about I get one... Oh yeah, there is a... Wait. I've just loaded into it. There's a world here. I'm underwater. I'm so curious. We'll have to do whatever this world is at some point.
Yes, another time we'll have to. Yes.
Is the world just missing? Oh no, okay. Here we it's loaded in now. Oh, fun,
it's an utterly random world. I don't know what it was.
I'm gonna be my plan is, since I've just got my PlayStation Minecraft all set up, is to beat the trial at some point. But yeah, we'll find another day. I know you've got a more rigid job than me, so we'll try to find a day that works soon, and we'll do the second half of the stream as another stream. Beat Minecraft, but backwards. Ooh.
Definitely. It sounds like fun.
I would love to ask a whole bunch more questions at the end here, but I really do have to sleep, so it was very lovely to catch up. Thank you to everyone who is watching, both from CornerHards and over here in my chat. Thank you for showing up. And yeah, I'm gonna take a little day off, but you should look forward to Q&A Saturday tomorrow. It's a good one. There's so much Minecraft news that's just come out in the last 2 days.
Yes, and Minecraft Live is coming up.
There's Minecraft Live. There's a cape. There's some hints of some odd things. There's the PS5 native version. There's the weird PSVR thing. There's not just the next drop that they've hinted they're showing, but some things never seen before. The future of Minecraft as a whole. There's going to be developers playing through it. There's so much they have announced.
Yeah. I can't say anything, but I will say, watch Minecraft. You will be excited. Watch Minecraft Live, everyone. It'll be good.
Okay.
It'll be good. I can't say anything about it, but watch it. It'll be good.
CornerHard knows something, and it is worth watching. That's a good sign. That's a good sign, everybody. Okay, have a good night. Bye.
Likewise.
Well, have a good evening for you. Afternoon.